Chapter 2978. A Divine Pill. They widened their eyes because they realized that the fiery red light kept changing. But it looked like a pill. A pill from the Great Void Divine Furnace. It had existed for countless years. This was an immortal pill. These people were stunned. Their breathing quickened, and their eyes turned red. They wanted to snatch it immediately. After all, Skyflame City was extremely mysterious. Even the great emperors could not see through its secrets. It was rumored that this was a huge city that fell from the celestial world. The pill inside was definitely an immortal pill. Brother Yen, let me lend you a helping hand. At this moment, the Fire Dragon King laughed loudly. His eyes shone with a cold light. The dragon blood on his body surged, turning into the shadow of a fire dragon that roared in the sky. That fire dragon was extremely valiant and extraordinary. It extended a dragon claw and grabbed towards the valley. It wanted to grab that fiery red immortal pill in its hand. Humph! Let me give you a helping hand too. Wuxia also attacked. The fire Qilin on his body shone brightly. Qilin arm. With a roar, endless bloodline power formed a Qilin arm in front of him. It also grabbed at the immortal pill. On the other side, Fengxue shouted. She did not say anything, but she also attacked with all her might. The shadow of a phoenix soared into the sky. This time, it was much more terrifying than the blood phoenix. They attacked aggressively. It seemed like they wanted to snatch the immortal pill that had just appeared. At the side, Huaxingyan also made his move. The four top sky prides attacked together. In the valley, Yin Nantian snorted coldly. He had used all his strength to open the Great Void Divine Furnace and obtain such an immortal pill. How could he give it to others? With a roar, the 9 runes around him shone brightly. He was about to counterattack. However, at this moment his pupils shrank. Not good. He quickly retreated. The Great Void Divine Furnace in front of him reacted to the attacks of the 4 top sky prides. There was a loud boom. A terrifying force burst out from the Great Void Divine Furnace. Together with the 8 barren divine fire array, it exploded and swept out in all directions. Boom boom boom. The attacks of the 4 top sky prides shattered in an instant. The fire dragon, Qilin arm, Phoenix shadow, and Huaxingyan's powerful attacks were all turned into ashes. The ancient chaos hand was not spared either. It instantly shattered and turned into nothingness. It was simply too powerful. It was simply not something that they could withstand. The Fire Dragon King, Fengxue, and the other 3 were injured. They retreated and vomited blood, their faces pale. Yin Nantian, who was in the valley, was the first to bear the brunt of the attack. In an instant, he was engulfed by the endless divine fire. Damn it, did I fail? Wuxia gritted his teeth in anger. Fengxue and the others also had ugly looks on their faces. That strike just now had made them tremble. Fortunately, they were outside the valley. Otherwise, they would likely end up in an extremely miserable state. Thinking of this, they looked ahead at the valley that was surrounded by endless flames. Was Yin Nantian killed? Even though he had the monarch talisman, they did not think he could survive the attack. Unless a true great emperor had awakened. In the dark, Morong Qingqing and Shunjingqiu were equally nervous. The dark red divine furnace shook its head. Damn, what a pity. A descendant of the earth had been killed just like that. Whoosh! Just when everyone thought that Yin Nantian had been burned to ashes by the divine fire, the void outside the valley split open, and a figure appeared. It was Yin Nantian. However, his face was abnormally pale. There was no trace of blood. He was not dead. Everyone was dumbfounded. Even the Crimson Divine Dragon was stunned. What was going on? How did he do it? Logically speaking, even a sage would not be able to withstand such a terrifying divine fire. How did he survive? Could it be? The dark red divine dragon looked at the valley. In the valley, the terrifying divine fire slowly disappeared. A broken talisman slowly floated down from the sky. The ancient chaos talisman. You actually have such a thing? Huaxingyan screamed. The Fire Dragon King and the others were also shocked. No wonder he could survive. They had heard of the ancient chaos talisman before. It was equivalent to a death substitute talisman. In a moment of crisis, Yin Nantian would probably use such a precious talisman to save himself. Indeed, Yin Nantian's face was extremely gloomy. It was as if blood was about to drip from his face. He felt a lump in his throat. The ancient chaos talisman was extremely precious. Even he did not have many of them. Every time he used it, he would have one less. It was a life-saving measure. No matter how dangerous the situation was, once he used the ancient chaos talisman, he would be able to escape. Originally, he thought that he might not be able to use it in this lifetime. But who would have thought that in this mysterious valley, he would actually use up an ancient Chaos Emperor talisman? What was worse was that he did not obtain any treasures at all. The ancient Chaos talisman. You are the successor of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor. At this moment, a cry of surprise came from the sky. Then a figure descended. Zhan Wushuang. At this moment, Zhan Wushuang was in an extremely sorry state. His black hair was disheveled, blood flowed from his body, and his armor was broken. Yen Nantian snorted and looked at the other party. Then he was stunned. Not only him, but the Fire Dragon King and the others were also stunned. What happened? Zhan Wushuang was injured? What was he doing? He seemed to be seriously injured. Could it be that he had activated some supreme formation again? Otherwise he would not be so injured. Let's see where you can run to. Just as they were shocked, a cold voice came from the sky again. Buzz buzz buzz. Endless dragon shadows wrapped around a figure and descended quickly. It was Lin Xian. At this moment Lin Xian was like a sword god. He was murderous and unstoppable. He pointed the blazing Qilin sword at Zhan Wushuang. What? It's this kid. Could it be that Zhan Wushuang was injured by this kid? That's impossible. The Fire Dragon King and the others were stunned. They stared at Lin Xian in disbelief. This should not be. He was just an ant. How could he be so powerful? Zhan Wushuang was at the same level as them and was extremely powerful. Although this human kid was powerful, they did not think much of him. From the beginning to the end, they did not even look at each other in the eye. But now, the ant in their eyes had actually managed to injure geniuses of the same cultivation level as them. And from the looks of it, he had been chasing after him. Damn it. How could this be? What was going on? Kuo Muzhen and the others looked gloomy. They tried to recall the geniuses they had sent out. Because they had watched the battle between the two sides, they thought that if they called those geniuses over, they would be able to see clearly. Whoosh, a few figures ran over from afar. It was Liang Luo. Soon, Kuo Muzhen and the others looked extremely gloomy. It was really that kid who had injured Zhan Wushuang. Moreover, the kid had hidden his strength far beyond their imagination. Damn it. This made them uneasy. They did not expect another peerless enemy to appear. Lin Xian stared at Zhan Wushuang and Yen Nantian at the same time. He was really shocked. Rumor had it that Yen Nantian had obtained the inheritance of a great emperor. He did not expect it to be confirmed today. Chapter 2979. He had seen how Yen Nantian tried to snatch the Void Divine Furnace. However, Yen Nantian did not succeed in the end. However, this did not mean that Yen Nantian was weak. On the contrary, Yen Nantian was ridiculously strong. One had to know that the Fire Dragon King and the others could not do anything. However, Yen Nantian did it. Moreover, he almost succeeded. Was this the successor of the Great Emperor? He was indeed terrifying. Originally, Lin Xian had assumed that only Leaf Dowdenier and Dustless would be a match for him among the humans. However, it seemed that Yen Nantian was really terrifying. His skills were probably above Wadeo's. Damn brat, don't go too far. Zhan Wushuang roared in anger. Even now, Yen Nantian still dared to point his sword at him. This made him very embarrassed. Lin Xian retracted his gaze from Yen Nantian. He then looked at Zhan Wushuang in disappointment and sneered. Why? Did you think that someone would back you up here? You are still fighting the #1 genius? What a piece of trash. You need someone to back you up. Forget it. A piece of trash like you is not worthy of my attention. Lin Xian retracted his sword. You. Zhan Wushuang was so angry that he vomited blood. He really could not defeat Lin Xian now. Moreover, he was injured and could not use his trump card. Hence, he snorted and stared at Yen Nantian with a dark face. He swore that as long as he had the chance, he would not let Yen Nantian off. Lin Xian ignored Zhan Wushuang and did not attack again. After all, Zhan Wushuang was not the only one here. The Fire Dragon King and the others were also here. If he attacked, these guys would definitely attack. There was another reason as well. The Fire Spirit Pearl that he had previously absorbed was actually reacting to him. He had already absorbed the energy in the Fire Spirit Pearl. However, the Fire Spirit Pearl did not shatter. It was like a crystal that remained in the mysterious small sword. At this moment, the Fire Spirit Pearl vibrated again. Something must have triggered the Fire Spirit Pearl. Was it the Void Divine Furnace? Or the mysterious Heaven Fire? Lin Xian did not know. However, he felt that this might be an opportunity. Therefore, he did not intend to attack again. On the other side, the Flame Dragon King and the others also had gloomy expressions. They looked at the Great Void Divine Furnace in front of them, shook their heads and sighed. If even Yin Nantian couldn't get it, then they probably wouldn't have a chance either. Therefore, these people either left the valley and returned to the fiery lake to prepare to break the formation and seize the heavenly flame. Otherwise, they would walk to the side and search for other king medicines. Some even sat down cross-legged to recover from their injuries. Lin Xian also came to a secluded place and sat down cross-legged. From the looks of it, he was recovering his strength. In fact, while he was recovering his strength, he was also transmitting a voice transmission to tell her about the Fire Spirit Pearl in his body. The Crimson Divine Dragon was shocked when it heard that. It seemed like the Fire Spirit Pearl was indeed related to something here. He just didn't know. Which one was it? Lin Xian asked. Ruffian Long, are you confident in breaking these formations? The dark red dragon took a deep breath. It wasn't impossible to crack it, but it would take some time. Maybe 1 or 2 years, maybe 8 or 10 years. After all, you should know that these formations are not ordinary. Lin Xian sighed when he heard that. If even the Crimson Divine Dragon said so, it would be even more difficult for the others to crack it. Suddenly, he exclaimed in surprise. He realized that the Fire Spirit Pearl in his body was suddenly filled with dense patterns. He had seen these patterns before, but he had been absorbing energy back then, and didn't pay attention to them. Now it seemed like there was another secret behind it. He studied it carefully, and found that it seemed to be a formation. At that thought, Lin Xian said, Ruffian Long, protect me secretly. He closed his eyes and sent his soul spirit into the space inside the small sword to study the Fire Spirit Pearl. The others didn't know that Lin Xian was recuperating. As for those people, they began to walk in all directions. For a moment, the surroundings were eerily quiet. Gradually, Huomuzhen and the others came to the fiery lake again, preparing to break the heavenly flame formation. The Fire Dragon King and the 3 supreme ancient theocrats were busy. Everyone was trying to break the formation. Around the fiery lake, runes and flames intertwined. It was a strange scene. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days passed. 3 days passed, and no one had any clue. However, they didn't give up. They knew that they wouldn't be able to break it in a short time. However, they didn't give up either. As for Huomuzhen and the others, their expressions were incomparably solemn as they unleashed everything they had learned in their lives. On the other side, Lin Xian also opened his eyes. He was ecstatic. Excitement, he was really too excited. In the past 3 days, his soul spirit had entered the mysterious small sword to study the Fire Spirit Pearl. He found that the patterns in the Fire Spirit Pearl were actually formations. To be precise, there were 2 formations. One was called the Heavenly Flame Formation, and the other was called the 8 Barren Divine Flame Formation. Not only were the 2 formations recorded in the sword, but it also recorded the methods to break them. Lin Xian was ecstatic. The Heavenly Flame Formation and the 8 Barren Divine Flame Formation were the 2 formations that protected the Heavenly Flame and the Void Divine Furnace. Outside, Huomuzhen and the other top geniuses had used countless methods, but they were all at their wits' end. However, he had found a way to break it. He was too excited. It seemed like it was time to make a move. However, it was impossible for him to brazenly attempt to breach the 2 spirit formations. Because even if he broke it, the treasures might not necessarily be his in the end. Although he was a top genius, there were too many opponents. If the 3 supreme ancient royal families joined forces, he wouldn't be able to fight them. Therefore, he had to think of a way to let these people kill each other first. Then he would be the fisherman who reaped the benefits. Lin Xian transmitted the news to the dark red divine dragon, Murong Qingqing and Shinjingqiu. After the three of them heard, their hearts beat wildly. The dark red divine dragon was especially excited. You really have a way to break it? Lin Xian nodded. However, how to do it was still a problem. Murong Qingqing sighed. Brother Xian, I think it's better to choose one of them. It's not realistic to get both of them. Indeed, Lin Xian wasn't too greedy. As long as he could get one of the treasures, this trip wouldn't be in vain. Shinjingqiu blinked her beautiful big eyes and said, when Yin Nantian opened the void divine furnace, there was a ball of fiery red light shining. In the end, it turned into an immortal pill. According to my perception, the aura of the red pill was very similar to the heavenly flame in the flaming lake. Therefore, I guess that the red pill must be related to the heavenly flame. Perhaps it has a component of the heavenly flame. What? There's such a thing? Lin Xian was shocked when he heard this. Chapter 2980. To be honest, they only knew that the red pill was mysterious and contained terrifying power. However, they did not know if it had anything to do with the heavenly fire. Of course, they did not doubt Shinjingqiu's words because they knew that Shinjingqiu had an innate spirit body. Such a spirit body was very sensitive to power. Perhaps among all the elite prodigies present, only Shinjingqiu could sense it. In that case, Lin Xian's eyes flashed. He had an idea. Why don't we give up on the heavenly fire? Firstly, the pill contained the heavenly fire. Here, Huomuzhen and the others were studying the heavenly fire. It seemed that they wanted to seize the heavenly fire. If we break the array now, they will definitely go crazy and fight for the heavenly fire. When they fight, we can take the opportunity to break the 8 Desolation Divine Fire Array and scheme for the Void Sky Divine Furnace. Even if we can't take the furnace away, it would be great if we can get the pill inside. After all, although the heavenly fire was good, the Void Sky Divine Furnace was even more mysterious. Besides the red pill, there might be other treasures inside. However, if we break it and they fight here, what should we do? We can't go to the valley and seize the Void Sky Divine Furnace. Murong Qingqing frowned. Lin Xian smiled mysteriously. It was fine. Fire Qilin Cave had been plotting for a long time. Huomuzhen was powerful, and they knew Skyfire City very well. As long as they could seize the heavenly fire, they would definitely leave. Don't forget about the teleportation array in the garden. They would definitely use that teleportation array to leave. Therefore, there would be a big hunt. After they leave, we just have to seize the Void Sky Divine Furnace. Lin Xian's plan was very good. After Murong Qingqing and the others heard it, they nodded. Alright, let's do it. Lin Xian could not take the initiative. After all, it would be too obvious if he did. Therefore, he told the dark red divine dragon the way to break the array. He let the dark red divine dragon do it secretly. After all, they were covered by the mysterious feathers, and no one could see or eat them. Then let's start. Lin Xian transmitted his voice. Then he went outside the valley again, pulled out the Fire Qilin sword, and bombarded the valley. He wanted to create a commotion to attract the attention of those people. That way, the dark red divine dragon would be able to do it quietly. As expected, Lin Xian's side began to attack the valley. All sorts of terrifying divine abilities and martial arts were displayed. Rumbling sounds rang out as flames filled the air, and sword qi danced in the air. In the distance, Huomuzhen and the others all looked over. Damn it, what is this brat trying to do? Was he crazy? Humph. Did he think that he could break the 8 Barons' divine fire array, just because he could defeat Zhang Wushuang? What an idiot. These people sneered disdainfully. However, they did not know that beside them, the dark red dragon was quietly cracking the array formation. Lin Xian's solution was obtained from the Fire Spirit Pearl. It was very profound and mysterious. He only needed to change the arrangement of some runic patterns to break the array formation. Therefore, the Dark Rainbow Divine Dragon's operation could be said to be silent. 1 spot, 2 spots, 3 spots. In the end, the Dark Red Divine Dragon cracked all 49 of them. When the last one was cracked, the Dark Red Divine Dragon hurriedly left with Murong Qingqing and the others. Not long after they left, A white mist suddenly appeared around the fiery lake, followed by a series of deep voices. The entire ground began to tremble. Damn it, what happened? Huomuzhen and the others were shocked. At first, they thought that something was wrong with Lin Xian's side. However, they realized that it was not the case. There was a problem with the fiery lake around them. Could it be that the array formation had been opened? They were extremely shocked. Impossible. They had been searching for so long but had no clue. How did the array formation break? Could it be that someone was lucky and accidentally triggered the mechanism to break the array formation? The Fire Dragon King's eyes flickered. After all, they were not the only top prodigies who were cracking the array formation. The other prodigies of the 10,000 ancient races were also cracking the array formation. There were so many people. Perhaps one or two of them were lucky enough to encounter it. However, they did not have time to think too much now. The array formation around the flaming lake let out a rumbling sound and quickly disappeared. The fiery lake appeared in front of everyone, and a monstrous and terrifying aura rushed toward them. It was as if they were facing the divine fire in the valley again. It was finally open. The prodigies of the Fire Qilin Cave were excited, and the prodigies of the other three royal families were also wild with joy. Feng Yinxue, Huomuzhen, and the others were excited. At this moment, everyone stood up and stared at the fiery lake in front of them. Attack! Huomuzhen was the first to roar. His figure flashed, and a Fire Qilin appeared and rushed over. Wherever it passed, heaven and earth trembled. A terrifying power surged in all directions. Damn it, how dare you! Feng Yinxue shouted. Her arms danced, and she struck out with the Phoenix seal. The Fire Dragon King, Zhan Wushuang, and Hua Xinyan did not want to be left behind. They all displayed their powerful abilities. Get lost! At the front, Huomuzhen roared and spat out a bronze pagoda. As soon as the bronze pagoda appeared, a terrifying aura spread in all directions. With a gentle sound, a terrifying sound wave swept in all directions. Buzz! The space shattered, and thousands of runes bloomed. Not good. Seeing this, the Fire Dragon King and the others' expressions changed. That was because the bronze pagoda was too terrifying. The runes on it were terrifying. It was the work of a sage. Those runes were carved by a sage, and they were far more powerful than ordinary weapons. Therefore, in an instant they were blasted away. Damn it! This guy has been preparing for a long time. He must be plotting against us. Feng Yinxue screamed. She felt that the formation was not activated by chance, but by Huomuzhen. Previously, the other party had been pretending, and did not break the formation directly. Instead, he waited for these people to be exhausted, anxious, and lost their confidence before breaking the formation. The other party was well prepared. At this moment, the bronze pagoda was the best proof. The Fire Dragon King gritted his teeth. On the other side, Yin Nantian let out a long roar. His body emitted a dazzling light, and 9 mysterious runes shrouded him, emitting a terrifying aura. Monarch runes. At this moment, Yin Nantian once again used the monarch runes and quickly walked forward. As soon as the monarch runes appeared, they blocked the power of the bronze pagoda. I won't let you get the heavenly fire. Yin Nantian's voice was cold as if a monarch had been resurrected. In front, Huomuzhen sneered, and the Qilin head let out a sinister laugh. Who do you think you are? Are you really a monarch that has been resurrected? You're still too young in front of me. As he spoke, he opened his mouth and spat out third-grade flying swords. Each of them was as red as fire, and emitted a terrifying aura. Not good, it's a forbidden weapon. Seeing this, the Fire Dragon King's eyelids twitched wildly. Huomuzhen sneered, and one of the flying swords enlarged, becoming 100 feet long. It slashed forward and broke through the flaming lake. Chapter 2981. Damn it. The forbidden artifact's power was no weaker than a half-step sacred artifact. Dodge it. They dodged one after another. Forbidden artifacts were very powerful, but they could not last long. Generally, they would break after a few uses. Although it was inferior to a half-step sacred artifact in this aspect, it was extremely terrifying in other aspects. For example, Its sudden burst of power or the effect of self-destruction was very terrifying. Even Yin Nantian, who had the great emperor's talisman, did not dare to resist it. This energy was comparable to the self-destruction of a half-step sacred artifact. Therefore he moved quickly. Boom, boom, boom. The void around the flaming lake quickly shattered. Other than Huomuzhen, no one dared to stay here. Huomuzhen had already opened the flaming lake. In the lake, there was a fist-sized flame that emitted a monstrous aura. Heavenly fire. Huomuzhen smiled when he saw the flame. He knew that it was the flame of his dreams, because the aura emitted from it was too terrifying. It was like the king of all flames. Even his body was trembling and cracks appeared. His own strength could not suppress the heavenly fire at all. However, the bronze pagoda above his head could. It was the work of a sage. The bronze pagoda cast a spell, and thousands of auras hung down like divine chains, enveloping the heavenly fire. Then it kept the heavenly fire. Let's go. Huomuzhen laughed loudly and flew in the sky. He called out to the prodigies of the Fire Qilin cave and quickly left. Around him, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yingshi's eyes turned red when they saw this scene. Especially Feng Yingxue, she screamed. How dare you? Stay. She screamed crazily. At this moment, she did not hold back. 2 pairs of phoenix wings appeared on her back. As she whistled, ice sealed thousands of miles. The entire space froze. The Fire Dragon King also turned into a fire dragon. He kept roaring, and his dragon claws tore the void apart. However, he was forced back by the Rainbow Pagoda. Huomuzhen was extremely powerful at this moment. His speed was also very fast. Get out of here! He shouted loudly, turned into rolling flames and fled. The prodigies of the Fire Qilin cave followed closely behind. All of them were extremely excited. They finally got the heavenly fire. Damn it, stop them. Don't let any of them go. Feng Yingxue screamed, and the Fire Dragon King roared as well. Zhan Wushuang, Yin Nantian, and Hua Xingyan also quickly followed. Their target was Huomuzhen. For a moment, many figures were tumbling in the sky. In front of him, Huomuzhen turned his head and revealed a ferocious smile. You want to hunt me down with just the likes of you? Go to hell. With that he roared, and the third flying sword beside him flew out again. This was also a forbidden artifact, and it exploded with a loud bang. Boom. Boom. The terrifying energy cut off the space and blocked everyone. By the time the energy dissipated, Huomuzhen had already led the people of the Fire Qilin cave out of the cave. Damn it, Chase. I must catch up to him. I can't let him escape. Behind him, the Fire Dragon King, Feng Yingxue, and the other Sky Prides roared crazily. They killed their way out like madmen. Damn it, I was tricked by the Fire Qilin cave. They would not allow Huomu to escape. Ha ha ha. Huomuzhen took the lead. He stepped on a fire cloud and flew quickly. Beside him were the Sky Prides of the Fire Cloud Cave. These people were also extremely excited. They had finally obtained the heavenly fire. Next, they would be able to leave this place. According to the ancient emperor's memories, there was a teleportation array ahead that could teleport them away. Previously, Huomuzhen had also sensed that although the teleportation array had not been used for a long time, it was undamaged. It could be activated at any time. After using the teleportation array to leave, they had completely shaken off the people from the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine Emperor Ridge. At that time, they could calmly go and seize the Qilin Eye. As for the Void Divine Furnace, they had given up on it this time. However, they had obtained 2 of the 3 treasures of Heavenly Fire City. After returning, the Qilin Crown Prince would definitely be very happy. Thinking of this, they were wild with joy. However, at this moment, a scream came from behind. It turned out that a palm had descended from the sky and directly slapped 2 geniuses of the Fire Spirit Cave to death. Damn it, the chaotic ancient palm. Seeing this scene, Huomuzhen's face darkened. Needless to say, it was Yin Nantian who had made a move. The other party was really powerful, as expected of someone who had obtained the inheritance of a great emperor. What should we do, Lord Seventh? Should we kill them? The eyes of the geniuses of the Fire Qilin cave beside him were bloodshot. They had never been hunted down like this before. Huomuzhen gritted his teeth and snorted coldly. There was no need to care about these people. Let's hurry up and fly. All of you, burn your bloodline power. We must leave this place as soon as possible. So what if 1 or 2 geniuses died? As long as they could leave this place, they would be safe. Without their guidance, it would be a problem for the remaining people to leave Heavenly Fire City, let alone obtain the treasures. As they were returning along the same path, Huomuzhen and the others were very fast. They were not obstructed at all. Not long after, they arrived at the garden from before. Not good, there was something wrong with that garden. It was very likely to be a teleportation array. Behind them, the Fire Dragon King and the others' expressions changed drastically when they saw this scene. They had felt that it was suspicious previously. Huomuzhen had stood under the rockery in the garden for a long time. At that time, they were suspicious. They had investigated, but they did not find anything. Now, it seemed that there was indeed a problem. Hurry up and don't let him leave. The Fire Dragon King roared angrily. Fire Dragon descends. He used a great divine ability. Phoenix soars the 9 heavens. Chaotic Ancient Divine Fist. Apocalyptic Blade. Heaven-battling Divine Blade. The top geniuses attacked crazily, trying to destroy the entire garden. As long as the array was destroyed, he did not believe that they could not escape alive. You want to stop me? It's not that easy. Huomuzhen laughed sinisterly, opened his mouth, and spat out another treasure. It was a disc array. It quickly expanded in the wind and directly merged into the void. Then the array was activated and enveloped the entire garden. Haha, with my Divine Sun Universe array, you can stay outside. Huomuzhen and the others laughed crazily. That was an extremely powerful defensive array. Those below the Sage Realm would not be able to break it. Those people wanted to stop them, but it was purely wishful thinking. As expected, those peerless divine abilities bombarded the array's light screen, producing earth-shattering sounds. The array's light screen trembled, but it did not break at all. Seeing that, the geniuses of Fire Qilin Cave all laughed loudly. Behind them, the Fire Dragon King, Feng Yingxue, and the others had gloomy expressions. Damn it, he brought so many treasures. They had naturally heard of the Divine Sun Universe array. It was an extremely famous defensive array of Fire Qilin Cave. They did not expect Huomuzhen to bring it here. Is it that powerful? Open. Heaven battling Divine Fist. Chapter 2982. Even though the void had been shattered, the spirit formation remained completely unscathed. Zhang Wushuang's face turned hideous. The other sky prides also looked cold. Let me try. Hua Xingyan walked out, and mysterious runes appeared in his eyes. Around him, balls of flames danced as if they could burn everything. It was the earthly blaze. He had such a strange flame. Feng Yingxue and the others exclaimed. It was a terrifying flame that was born from the earth, and it was very difficult to subdue. They did not expect it to be refined by him. Sure enough, when the flame appeared, the surrounding void distorted. Many sky prides trembled as they looked in front of them in fear. Poof! The earthly blaze landed on the array and burned rapidly. Soon it spread throughout the entire space. The array shook violently, but it resisted in the end. Damn it, how could it be so strong? Hua Xingyan frowned when he saw this. In the garden, Huomuzhen and the others still came to the array. He looked at the exasperated faces of the people outside the garden and laughed proudly. Idiots! The Divine Sun Universe array was an extremely strong defensive array. No one below the sage level could break it. You people should stop dreaming. Huomuzhen laughed. I'll miss you after I leave Sky Flame City. I hope you can escape from here within 100 years. Huomuzhen was overjoyed. Without his guidance, these people would not be able to leave. Hearing this, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yingxue's faces darkened. When they entered the 4th area, Huomuzhen had provided them with the method to break the array. They had worked together and spent a lot of effort to break it. Now that they did not have Huomuzhen's guidance, it would be much more difficult for them to leave. Damn it! Thinking of this, Feng Yingxue screamed and attacked again. An ice sword fell from the sky, and it was powerful enough to destroy the world. It slashed on the array, but it did not break it. Humph! You bitch, you keep going against me. Who do you think you are? Now just stay here obediently. When I'm in a good mood, I might come back to collect your corpse in 100 years. Huomuzin's arrogant voice sounded again. Hearing this, Feng Yingxue was so angry that she vomited blood. Ah, how dare he insult her like this? This drove her crazy. Damn you, Huomuzin, I'll kill you. Kill me. Stop dreaming. Huomuzin sneered. Do you think you have the strength to do so? Be good and stay here. I'm going to leave. Huomuzin was very proud of himself. After returning this time, he would definitely be rewarded by the crown prince. At that time, his strength would advance by leaps and bounds again. As for these people, they were trapped here. What could the other party use to kill him? At the thought of this, he called the prodigies of the Fire Qilin Grotto to stand on the array formation. Then he formed a seal with his palm. 9 divine crystals flew out of his sleeves in different directions, providing a tremendous amount of energy. Activate the formation. With a cold shout, Huomuzin's body exploded with light. One after another, mysterious runes hit the formation. Oh no, I can't let him go. Feng Yingxue, the Fire Dragon King, and the other top sky prides attacked like crazy. However, it was still blocked by the array formation. Although cracks had appeared on the formation, it did not shatter. On the teleportation array, Huomuzin and the others smiled. Goodbye. He was about to leave this place. However, in the next moment he was stunned. The surrounding prodigies of the Fire Qilin Grotto also looked at each other. What was going on? Why weren't they teleported away? Damn teleportation array, activate! Huomuzin shouted coldly. He thought that the divine crystals he threw out were not enough. So he threw out 9 more, and merged them into the array formation. The teleportation array made a buzzing sound, but in an instant, the light disappeared again. They were not teleported away. Damn it, what was going on? How could this be? Huomuzin's face was gloomy, and the expressions of the prodigies around him changed drastically. Could it be that there was a problem with the array formation? That was impossible. Huomuzin had personally checked before. The array formation was intact, and could be activated at any time. Moreover, he had done it very secretly. He did not believe that these people could see through it. Judging from the situation when these people were chasing after him, they really did not know that there was a teleportation array here. In other words, it was impossible for these people to destroy it. But why could the teleportation array not be activated? How could this be? What should we do, Lord Seventh? The faces of the surrounding prodigies of the Fire Qilin Grotto also turned pale. Could it be that this array formation was broken? That was impossible. Although many tens of thousands of years had passed, so many killing arrays had been used before. This array formation should not be broken. Their faces were also gloomy. What exactly happened? Damn it, I don't believe it. It must be that the array formation had not been activated for a long time, so the energy required was relatively large. His eyes were bloodshot. This time, he threw out 49 divine crystals. Those divine crystals were like small suns, blooming with vast energy, and enveloping the entire array formation. This time, the energy should be enough. Huomuzin gritted his teeth, and quickly formed a seal with his palms. Everyone's hearts were in their mouths. However, this time, they still did not teleport away. All the energy was absorbed by the array formation, but they still stayed in place. How could this be? The prodigies of the Fire Qilin Grotto were about to go crazy. They looked at the people outside the array formation, their bodies trembling. Previously, they had completely offended the nest of 10,000 dragons, Divine Phoenix Ridge, and Zhan Wushuang and other top prodigies. If they could teleport away, then it would be fine. However, if they could not teleport away, they would face the anger of so many top prodigies. Would they be able to withstand it? Not to mention them. Even their 7th generation master would not be able to resist. Huomuzin's face also turned green. He roared in exasperation. Damn it, you bastard! Open it! He had gone crazy. He roared like a wild dog. But the array formation remained indifferent. Outside the array formation, Fire Dragon King, Feng Yingxue, and the others were also stunned. What was going on? Huomuzin and the others were not teleported away. To be honest, they did not believe it either. It seemed that there was a problem with the array formation. Xingyan sneered. Everyone was stunned. then revealed a sinister expression. This Huomuzhen was really courting death. Fire Dragon King sneered. Feng Yinxue was even more murderous. Great, there was finally a chance to kill him with his own hands. Zhan Wushuang and Yin Nantian also snorted coldly. Their expressions were incomparably cold. They attacked together. They would shatter the array formation. Cracks had already appeared on the array formation. Now that they were attacking even more violently, it probably would not last long. 7th generation master, what should we do? Chapter 2983. Huomuzhen was trembling with anger. Damn it, how did this happen? To be honest, he did not expect that he would not be able to leave after offending so many people. His previous plan was very good. He would seize the treasure, activate the teleportation array, and leave directly. However, he had obtained the treasure, but now the array formation had failed. No, it can't have failed. Someone must have sabotaged it. Huomuzhen looked ferocious. He kept feeling that there was a pair of invisible hands behind him that were pushing everything. When the great heavenly fire array was broken, he had some doubts. Those people thought that he was the one who cracked it, but he knew that he did not know how to crack the array formation. However, the array formation was inexplicably broken. He previously thought that someone was lucky and triggered the array formation's mechanism, but now that he thought about it, that was unlikely. This ancient great array was so mysterious that it was not something that could be opened by luck alone. However, in just 3 days, the great heavenly fire array was activated. Now that he thought about it, it was indeed very suspicious. Coupled with the fact that the teleportation array could not be activated, that made Huomuzhen's heart sink to the extreme. He knew that he had been set up, but who was the one who did it? Damn it! Could it be that there's a peerless expert hiding in the dark? Who is it? Come out! He roared like a madman. How dare you set me up? I'll definitely kill you. Fire Qilin Cave will definitely not let you off. However, no one answered. What answered him was only an earth-shattering sound. With a boom, endless light flickered, and the surrounding divine sun universe array shattered with a bang. Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinxue, and the others rushed over. Behind them were the primordial elites of the nest of 10,000 dragons and Divine Emperor Ridge. Oh no! The primordial elites of the Fire Qilin Cave were so scared that they were about to cry. Huomuzhen's face was also extremely pale. Wait, this is a misunderstanding. Seeing that the other party had arrived, Huomuzhen hurriedly roared. They had been set up, and they had to find the person who was hiding in the dark. Misunderstanding my ass. Feng Yinxue rushed forward with a murderous aura, not giving Huomuzhen a chance to speak at all. Previously, he dared to call her ab*tch and humiliate her. How could she tolerate it? Buzz! She extended her jade-like hand, which transformed into a divine bird. It carried the divine light of Li Fire, as it pierced through the clouds and charged at Huomuzhen. It could be said that he did not hold back at all in this palm strike. Therefore, the sky prides around Huomuzhen trembled, unable to resist at all. Huomuzhen shouted angrily, and a cold light burst from his eyes. A sea of fire gushed out from his body, and his king's domain enveloped the geniuses around him, forming a strong defense. At the same time he punched out. Boom! The sky was filled with crimson clouds that emanated from his fist, spreading out in all directions. This punch was like a peerless ferocious beast that had broken free from its shackles and charged forward. Clang! When the two collided, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. A terrifying explosion of energy blew those geniuses away. Only the Flame Dragon King and the others were still able to advance. Huomuzhen's face darkened. He roared, "Retreat!" The sky prides behind him could not withstand such a ferocious attack. At the same time, he quickly retreated. Now that the other party was going crazy, he had to leave this place. However, he had just retreated. Behind him, a divine blade descended. It was sparkling and translucent, carrying terrifying divine force, cutting off his path of retreat. Buzz! Countless runes flickered above his head. A huge vortex appeared, and a godfiend's palm reached out from the vortex, emitting a monstrous aura. The Flame Dragon King and Yin Nantian had made their move. Oh no! Huamuzan's pupils constricted. He was the 7th-generation god fiend, and his strength was incomparably terrifying. However, he could not fight against so many geniuses of the same level as him. Therefore he could only hide. His body turned into a stream of light. He burned his bloodline power, and narrowly avoided such a terrifying killing move. At the same time he screamed frantically, "Stop! I've been tricked. The array has been tampered with, and can't be used anymore. Moreover, I wasn't the one who broke the heavenly fire array. Someone broke it in the dark. There's a peerless expert lurking around us. We have to find that person, or there will be endless trouble." Humph. Hearing that, the Flame Dragon King snorted coldly. Zhan Wushuang, Yan Nantian, and the others also felt cold. They didn't believe such nonsense. Feng Yinxue sneered. "Someone tricked you? Someone secretly attacked you? Do you think he'll believe you? We have so many experts, but we can't see through the other party. Could it be that the other party is a saint? A saint can't enter this place. Besides, when you escaped with the heavenly fire, was there someone tricking you? When you humiliated me in the array, was there someone forcing you to say it? Damn you, Huamuzan. I won't let you go today." Feng Yingxi's murderous aura pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. The others also attacked aggressively. Although they were also very confused, they were all burning with anger. They had to capture Huamuzan and torture him. Then, they would think about whether the details were as the other party had said. These people did not hold back. One by one, they unleashed their terrifying divine abilities. "Ah, damn it, I'll fight it out with you." Huamuzan screamed crazily. His eyes were wide open, and the blood in his body surged. A huge fire Qilin phantom appeared and roared at the sky. At the same time, he burned his bloodline power, and the bronze pagoda also rushed out from between his brows. He did not hold back at all, and fought against these people. In an instant a great battle broke out. In the end, Huamuzan used the heavenly fire that he had just obtained. Monstrous flames filled the air. The entire space was enveloped by a peerless power. Other than Yan Nantian, Fire Dragon King, and the others who fought against it, the other ancient paragons all retreated frantically, not daring to get close at all. However, the paragons of the Nest of 10,000 Dragons and Divine Phoenix Ridge were not idle either. They all charged towards the paragons of the Fire Qilin Cave. For a moment the battle was very tragic. While these people were fighting desperately on the other side, the cave was eerily quiet. At this moment, the cave inside was still like a paradise on earth. The flaming lake that was split open by the saber once again recovered, but there was still no one there. In the entire paradise on earth, only Lin Xian was left. Of course, there was also the dark red divine dragon and the others. They walked out of the mysterious feather. They were finally out. Morong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief. Xin Jingqiu looked around curiously. The dark red divine dragon was extremely excited. "Kid, let's start quickly." Lin Xian nodded. There was no time to lose. They had to make a move quickly. Who knew what happened to those people outside? The group of people moved quickly and arrived outside the valley. Looking at the void divine furnace in front of them, everyone's eyes burned with passion. My God! The snow-white little monkey also jumped out, scratching its ears and cheeks anxiously. However, it also knew that the array formation ahead was terrifying, so it did not dare to move forward. Chapter 2984. Because they already had the method to break it, they took action very quickly. Not long after, the entire 8 Desolation Divine Fire array trembled slightly, and then disappeared. Great, it's broken! The dark red divine dragon was overjoyed, and the snow-white monkey flew over. Lin Xian, Morong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu also arrived at the front. Void divine furnace. Everyone looked at the divine furnace in front of them, and became excited. One of the pills inside was refined using the heavenly flame. Its value was definitely higher than the heavenly flame. And this was only one of the treasures. There must be other treasures inside. In other words, the value of the entire void divine furnace far exceeded the heavenly fire. Hurry up and take it away. The dark red divine dragon set up a layer of array outside to prevent them from causing too much of a commotion when taking the treasures, and alerting the outside. Let me try. After setting up the array, the dark red divine dragon couldn't wait any longer. He opened his mouth and wanted to swallow the void divine furnace. The mysterious runes on the void divine furnace flickered and terrifying divine flames spread out, scaring the dark red divine dragon so much that he quickly retreated. No, although the 8 desolation divine fire array was broken, the void divine furnace was too terrifying. It would be difficult for those below the sage realm to walk. Let's open the furnace. The dark red divine dragon shook his head and stretched out his dragon claws, grabbing the top of the furnace and lifting it. However, the void divine furnace didn't move at all. Damn, why is it so heavy? Everyone was stunned. The dark red divine dragon could easily lift 100,000 mountains with just one move. However, the void divine furnace didn't move. That Yin Nantian was really powerful. He could lift the top of the void divine furnace with just one hand. Morong Qingcheng exclaimed. Xin Jingqiu was also shocked. It had to be said that the great emperor's divine ability was indeed powerful. Let me try. Lin Xian stood out. His 9-yang divine body bloomed with light as he used his full strength. A pair of golden hands grabbed the top of the furnace. Open for me. With a furious roar, Lin Xian's black hair danced wildly. The entire void trembled and countless cracks appeared around him. The illusionary divine furnace also began to tremble and let out rumbling noises. Lin Xian was like a god of war, his power erupting once again. Finally, a crack appeared in the furnace. It was activated. The Crimson Dragon God was overjoyed. Morong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu were also shocked. As expected of the 9-yang divine body, it was indeed terrifying to possess such divine power. Lin Xian's face was flushed red. Activating this sliver was already his limit. He couldn't open it completely. However, he also had a backup plan. Come out, Great Dragon Sword Soul. With a cold shout, a dragon-shaped sword shadow flew out and circled in the sky. Then it pierced into the gap. Clang! An earth-shattering sound could be heard. Fortunately, there was a formation around them, so it did not spread out. Seeing the Great Dragon Sword Soul enter the gap, Lin Xian breathed a sigh of relief. He loosened his grip. His arm was numb. He had to admit that the Great Void Divine Furnace was too terrifying. At the same time, he was even more shocked. It seemed that the chaotic ancient technique was truly incomparably terrifying. The inheritance of a great emperor was truly not to be underestimated. In the future, he would have to pay more attention to Yin Nantian. Now, he put away his thoughts and focused on dealing with the Great Void Divine Furnace in front of him. Buzz! He grabbed the Great Dragon Sword Soul with one hand. Then he pressed it down. He wanted to use the Great Dragon Sword Soul as a lever to pry open the cauldron of the Great Void Divine Furnace. If it was an ordinary top-tier heaven-grade weapon, it would probably break in an instant. Even a half-saint weapon might not be able to withstand it. However, the Great Dragon Sword Soul was different. This was an offensive saint technique between heaven and earth. It would not break at all. Lin Xian did not have to worry. He only needed to use all his strength. Rumble! Rumble! The top of the Great Void Divine Furnace finally emitted a creaking sound. The crack grew bigger and bigger. And finally, more than half of it was opened. Buzz! As soon as the Divine Furnace opened, a red light rushed out from within, emitting a peerless aura. It turned into a pill and floated at the entrance. It was that pill! Seeing this scene, the Crimson Dragon God exclaimed. Morong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu also held their breaths. Previously they had seen this pill. The power of this pill was too terrifying. Mysterious runes appeared on Xin Jingqiu's body. She sensed it carefully. That's right. This pill indeed contained the aura of the divine fire. Keep it. Lin Xian took out the 9-story pagoda. It was also a half-saint weapon that he controlled. He put away the red pill. After doing all this, he heaved a sigh of relief. The Crimson Dragon God looked ahead eagerly. Kid, look. Are there any more treasures inside? They looked ahead. It was chaos inside. They could not see clearly at all. Kid, activate your heavenly secret divine eyes. The Crimson Dragon God urged. Lin Xian activated his heavenly secret divine eyes and looked inside. In the next moment, he could not see clearly what kind of chaos he passed through. However, he saw that there were many flickering lights inside. He thought that there should be treasures inside. He said that there were indeed treasures, but he could not take them out. Lin Xian stretched out his palm and reached into the chaos, wanting to take out those treasures. However, as soon as he entered, the 9-yang palm cracked open. He was so scared that he quickly retracted his hand. It seemed that the aura of the wonton was even more terrifying than the divine fire. Did he have to wait for the treasures to fly out? The crimson dragon god's eyes were red. He muttered something and formed a seal with his dragon claws. He shouted, "Come out, treasure!" However, there was no reaction from the void divine furnace. The crimson dragon god was so angry that he roared and slapped it with his claws. Damn it! Wuji Wuji, the snow-white monkey jumped. It was also so angry that it scratched its ears and cheeks. It took off the treasure bowl on its head. The snow-white monkey used all its strength. Its body emitted a white light. It used the treasure bowl to the extreme. Similarly, mysterious runes appeared one after another. Lin Xian also took out the fire spirit pearl from the mysterious sword and placed it on the treasure bowl. He did not know what use it would be. However, he had a feeling that the fire spirit pearl should have some kind of connection with the void divine furnace. Sure enough, under the effect of the two, a few more lights flew out from the void divine furnace. It came out. A treasure came out. A total of 4 lights came out and floated at the entrance. Seeing this, the snow-white monkey waved its claws and kept a blue fruit. Then it was elated. Its big eyes narrowed into crescents. Other than the blue fruit, there were 3 other treasures. One of them was a blood-colored lingji. This was not an ordinary lingji. It was even more terrifying than a medicine king. This was because there were mysterious runes on it. They did not look like they were carved by humans. Heavens, could this be natural Dao runes? The crimson dragon god swallowed his saliva. He had never seen such a magical spirit herb. Big brother Lin Xian, can you give this blood lingji to me? Shen Jinqia's beautiful eyes widened. There were also terrifying runes revolving around her body. She had formed some kind of connection with the blood lingji. Lin Xian smiled. Of course, these are all for you. Then I want stand on ceremony. Shen Jingqiu formed a seal with her palm. The blood lingji flew to her side and she kept it. Roar. This won't do. I have to choose one too. The crimson dragon god stared at the remaining 2 treasures. At this moment, a roar came with a terrifying aura. Chapter 2985. What a terrifying bloodline suppression. What is this thing? The dark red divine dragon's eyes were red as it stared at the black pill. This thing looked inconspicuous, but it was actually so terrifying. Could it be the legendary Thousand Beasts pill? Heavens, I want this thing. The dark red divine dragon waved its claw and kept the black pill. Then I want the last thing. Morong Qingqing smiled and waved her jade-like hand. Although there was only one left, she was not dissatisfied. In fact, she was very happy. The last thing was a 7-colored lotus. The 7 petals were like a rainbow, shining with a mysterious aura. Needless to say, this was also a treasure. Everyone was very satisfied with the treasures they obtained. Next, the little white monkey activated the treasure basin again. Lin Xian used the fire spirit pearl, but it was useless. None of the treasures came out. They knew that they might have used up all their opportunities. However, it did not matter. Each of them had obtained a treasure. Moreover, they knew that the value of any treasure in their hands was far greater than the Heaven Fire. It could be said that they were the biggest winners in this trip to Heaven Fire City. Lin Xian kept the great dragon sword soul, and the divine furnace slowly healed. Finally, the void sky divine furnace merged into one again. It emitted a mysterious aura and floated there. Are we leaving? Morong Qingqing asked. The dark red divine dragon looked at it and said reluctantly, Aya, this is a peerless treasure. Are we going to leave it here? I really want to take it away. Kid, do you have any other ideas? Lin Xian also looked reluctant. To be honest, although he could not take it out now, he wanted to take it away. In the future, when he became stronger, he would definitely be able to get the treasures inside. So he wanted to get it. After thinking for a while, he said, let me try. Others might not have a way, but he had a way. He had a mysterious small sword in his body. Previously, The mysterious small sword had absorbed the fire spirit pearl. This time, it should be able to take the void sky divine furnace. However, he could not take the initiative to move the mysterious small sword. So he was ready to take the risk. He reached out and grabbed the void sky divine furnace. The void sky divine cauldron released a divine flame that enveloped Lin Xian. The 9-yang divine body resisted the divine flame, but the divine flame was too terrifying. Cracks instantly appeared on his 9-yang divine body. He roared, "Damn it, keep it!" Just as his body was about to shatter, the mysterious little sword in his body finally trembled. A beam of sword light shot out and enveloped the void sky deity. In the next moment, the void divine furnace disappeared from the valley. Disappeared. The void divine furnace seemed to have disappeared. Morong Qingqing and the others widened their eyes, and the dark red dragon screamed, "Kid, did you succeed?" Lin Xian closed his eyes, and his soul entered the mysterious little sword. Sure enough, he discovered that the Nihility divine furnace had appeared in that mysterious space. This made him sigh in relief. He opened his eyes and a smile appeared on his face. He had succeeded. Hurry up and leave. Don't get blocked by those people. If they find out that it was us who did it in secret, these people will probably go crazy. The dark red dragon and the others prepared to leave. Lin Xian nodded and also wanted to leave. However, just as they turned around, a mysterious flame suddenly appeared in the place where the void divine furnace was originally floating. When it jumped, the entire valley's space instantly shattered. A terrifying spatial power enveloped Lin Xian and the others. In the next moment, they disappeared from the valley. On the other side, the battle in the garden was tragic. Huomuzin's body was covered in blood, and his body was covered in cracks. He had been defeated twice, and this was the result of using all his trump cards and burning his bloodline power. Otherwise, he would have been killed long ago. On the other side, the prodigies of the Fire Qilin Cave were also on the verge of death, and each of them was injured. Many of them had been killed. Damn it, stop. I'm not fighting anymore. I'll hand over the heavenly fire. Huomuzhen was going crazy. However, if he did not hand over the heavenly fire, he would really lose his life. Not only him, but all the prodigies of the Fire Qilin Cave would be killed. He could not bear the consequences. Hearing this, the Fire Dragon King and the others stopped. Huomuzhen reluctantly took out the bronze pagoda. He divided the heavenly fire into 6 portions and gave them to the Fire Dragon King and the other 5 prodigies. Only then did the other party stop. However, Feng Yunxue looked at him with a cold expression. In the end, she did not make a move. This made Huomuzhen heave a sigh of relief. However, in the next moment, he trembled with anger. Who was it? Who was it that tricked him? He decided to go back and take a look. The others also felt that something was amiss. After all, it was unreal that the heavenly fire array was activated so easily. Therefore, these people also followed Huomuzhen and returned to the cave. When they entered the cave, they found that it was quiet inside. They first came to the flaming lake and saw that everything was normal. Feng Yunxue sneered. Alright, we've already obtained the heavenly fire. It doesn't matter if you're lying and plotting something. The others also looked over. Huomuzhen shook his head. Someone must have tricked me. Let's go to the valley and take a look. There might be something wrong with the void divine furnace. They flew toward the valley. Among them, although the Fire Dragon King and the others were suspicious, they did not think that the other party had the ability to seize the void divine furnace. One should know that even the successor of the great emperor, Yin Nantian, could not do anything. Moreover, he only survived after risking a chaotic ancient imperial talisman. It was impossible for others to take it away, unless it was a saint, and an extremely terrifying one at that. Only then would he be able to quietly take away the void wave divine furnace. With a suspicious attitude, they flew toward the valley. However, when they arrived at the valley, they were completely dumbfounded. With a clang, the bronze pagoda above Huomuzin's head fell to the ground. However, he did not care at all. He stared ahead. Where was the void divine furnace? Feng Yunxue also screamed. The pupils of the Fire Dragon King, Zhan Wushuang, and Hua Xinyan also shrank. Yin Nanshan's eyes shone with a piercing cold light. The stars in his eyes were like the eyes of the martial path, sweeping in all directions. Could it be that it was hidden? However, under such a terrifying eye technique, nothing could be hidden. He realized that the void divine furnace had really disappeared. Not only did the void divine furnace disappear, but the 8 barren divine fire array also disappeared. As soon as Huomuzhen entered the valley, he roared crazily. Who was it? Damn it, who was the one who did it? The others were also sweating profusely. The heavenly fire array was broken? The 8 barren divine fire array was also broken by someone. Which expert was it that did this? It could not be the younger generation. No one had such a terrifying ability. Even the top young array masters could not do it. The Fire Dragon King and the others shook their heads. They knew how terrifying the 8 barren divine fire array was. Even the 10,000 ancient races couldn't produce such a prodigy, let alone the human race or anyone else. Chapter 2986. Super Expert. There was a super expert hiding in the dark. Damn it, what method did he use to get in? Which faction's super expert was he from? These people went crazy. They felt that it was not just Huomuzhen, but all of them had been tricked by the other party. The other party first cracked the heavenly fire formation, making them fight for the heavenly fire, and the other party quietly took away the void divine furnace after they left. Thinking of this, everyone felt like they had been played, especially Huomuzhen. He even spat out a mouthful of blood with a cry. Even he had been injured by it. Who exactly was it? Wait, where was that kid? Where was that human kid? Feng Yinxue suddenly screamed. The others also looked at each other. Yes, where was Lin Xian? If it was said that Lin Xian was an ant in the past, they wouldn't have taken him seriously. However, the battle between him and Zhang Wushuang let them know that this kid was very strong, not weaker than them. However, during the heavenly fire battle, he did not appear at all, and now he disappeared. Could it be that he took the void divine furnace? When these words came out, the others' eyelids twitched wildly. Impossible, no matter how strong that kid is, he's at most on par with us. If we can't take it, what right does he have to take it? Yes, even Brother Yen, the successor of a great emperor, couldn't do anything. How could this kid have such methods? Although he had the 9 Yang divine body and great dragon sword soul, these two were both offensive and combat aspects. In terms of cracking formations, he had no advantage. In fact, he was even inferior to us. They did not believe that it was Lin Xian who took the void divine furnace, because that would be too sensational. Yin Nan frowned. If it was not taken by the other party, then why did he disappear? Could it be that it was the super saint behind this kid? They knew that Lin Xian was related to at least 3 super saints. The first was Xia Jiuyo, that was Immortal Palace's old palace master. The second was Lin Zhan, that was the other party's father. The third was Wine Lord. His relationship with the other party was not shallow. What if it was really Lin Xian who had colluded with one of the 3 super sages to take it away? It shouldn't be. The Fire Dragon King and the others shook their heads. Ever since the darkness upheaval, the ancestors of the 3 ancient royal families have been secretly watching the actions of the human race's super saints. If it's one of those super sages, our patriarch will definitely know about it. At that time, he would definitely not let the matter rest. Therefore, it couldn't be them. Who was it? Could it be that another hidden mysterious saint had taken action and seized the void divine furnace? But this kid happened to see it, and then he killed this kid directly. It was possible. Everyone nodded. They felt that this was also a possibility. Huomuzhen's face was gloomy. No matter who had done it this time, he had really lost. He only managed to obtain 1/6 of the heavenly flame before the void divine furnace disappeared. How was he going to explain himself when he returned? That's right, the Qilin's eye. There was still the Qilin's eye. He had to get the Qilin's eye. Otherwise, the Qilin Crown Prince would not forgive him when he returned. In the next moment, he looked at the Fire Dragon King and the others. You guys don't need to follow me anymore. At this point, he waved his sleeve, and endless runes condensed in the air, forming a map. This is the way out. You guys follow this path. I have other things to do. With that, he quickly left with the people of the Fire Qilin Cave. Damn it, this guy must have secrets that he's hiding from us. Could it be that there are other treasures in Heavenly Flame City? Feng Yinxue looked at the other party's back and gritted his teeth. Should we follow? The other's eyes flickered. These people discussed and decided to follow and take a look. They felt that Huomuzhen must be hiding something. They followed for a while, but found that he had completely disappeared. This made them sigh. Forget it, this guy knows more than us. It's easy to shake us off. Let's go back the way we came. Yin Nantian and the others shook their heads. Everyone decided to return. In the true spirit world, Heavenly Flame City floated in the sky, emitting a terrifying aura. The great sects of the human race and the 10,000 ancient races were waiting nervously. After all, they had sent in so many geniuses. It seemed that there should be 1 or 2 months before Heavenly Flame City disappeared. They wondered how far Huomuzhen and the others had gone. Did they get the Heavenly Flame? Did they get the Void Divine Furnace? Qilinai? The eyes of the powerhouses of the Fire Qilin Cave flickered. They still didn't know that the Void Divine Furnace had been quietly taken away by someone else. Huomuzhen had only obtained 1/6 of the Heavenly Flame. As for the Qilinai, it was still unknown. If this news were to spread, it would probably shock the entire Fire Qilin Cave. On this day, not far from Heavenly Flame City, the void split open, and a few figures fell from the void. As soon as these people appeared, their bodies shone brightly, and they instantly recovered. Where is this place? A beautiful woman in purple asked curiously with widened eyes. Beside her was a peerless beauty in white, a dark red divine dragon, a snow-white monkey, and a black-robed youth. It was Lin Xian and the others. After Lin Xian recovered his strength, he looked around. Heavenly Flame City, we're out. Sure enough, Murong Qingqing and the others also saw the incomparably huge Heavenly Flame City. They heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, they were worried. What about the disciples of their sacred lands? There should be a way out. Lin Xian's eyes also flickered. Peacock and the other Immortal Palace martial artists were also inside. However, he wasn't worried. With so many disciples of the sacred lands inside, there would be a way out. Lin Xian said, "Let's leave this place quickly. After all, we came out early. If we were discovered by others, there would be a lot of questions and suspicions." At this point, Murong Qingqing took out a mysterious feather, covered their aura, and quickly left. Sure enough, not long after they left, a few immemorial kings looked over. What's going on? Why do I feel an energy fluctuation? Could it be that someone came out early? Impossible. It's not time yet. These people shouldn't have come out. Perhaps a demonic beast happened to pass by. The few of them patrolled the surroundings again, but they didn't find anyone suspicious. Only then did the immemorial kings withdraw their gazes. On the other side, in the void, Lin Xian and the others heaved a sigh of relief. That was close. These immemorial kings were so cautious. Forget it, let's leave quickly. They flew quickly in the dark. Finally, they arrived 5 million miles away. Lin Xian was still worried. He flew another 10 million miles before landing in the forest below. It should be fine. We're already far away from Heavenly Flame City. Those people won't be monitoring here. The few of them heaved a sigh of relief. Kid, where are we going next? Chapter 2987. Qingqing and the others also looked over. Lin Xian said, "The main group hasn't returned yet. It's not good for us to wander around outside to avoid being discovered. How about this? Let's go back to the Immortal Palace and enter seclusion. We've all obtained a lot of treasures. Why don't we take advantage of this time to consume them?" Okay. Murong Qingqing and Shen Qingqiu nodded. They could also return to the Immortal Palace and cultivate while waiting for the people from their holy land to return. The dark red dragon took out the array platform and opened the space gate. The few of them quickly left. Inside the Immortal Palace, the array flickered. Lin Xian and the others appeared, attracting the attention of the head protector and the others. "Palace Master, why are you back?" They were extremely shocked. Because they were also paying attention to Sky Flame City, but no one came out. Lin Xian said, "It's a long story. First, seal the news and don't let anyone know that we came out. Yes. The head protector quickly went to seal the news. Lin Xian brought Morong Qingqing and the others into the Star Palace. Everyone went into seclusion. Lin Xian sat down cross-legged. First, he recovered his body to its peak state. He took out the 9-layered pagoda. There was a red pill floating in the air inside. Just by smelling the pill's fragrance, Lin Xian felt refreshed. The blood in his body boiled, as if his strength had increased. It was indeed an immortal pill. He was wild with joy. Gulp. He decisively swallowed it. A violent energy erupted. Lin Xian closed his eyes and slowly formed a seal. On the other side, the dark red dragon, the snow-white monkey, Morong Qingqing, and Shen Jingqiu also swallowed the treasures they obtained. Everyone went into seclusion. 1 month. 2 months. At the beginning of the 3rd month, Sky Flame City emitted a terrifying energy that forcefully teleported everyone out. Its terrifying figure slowly disappeared into the void. Sky Flame City disappeared. The terrifying pressure dissipated, making everyone heave a sigh of relief. At the same time, everyone sighed. They didn't know when they would be able to explore Heavenly Flame City again. The people of the Fire Qilin Cave were extremely excited. They sent out a dozen Archean kings to bring Huomuzhen and the others back. The nest of 10,000 dragons and Divine Phoenix Ridge did the same, sending out a large number of experts. Leaf Daudenier, Dustless, Alcade, the Grand Summer Photon, and the others all emerged. Their auras were much stronger than before. Clearly, these people had obtained their own fortuitous encounters in Heavenly Flame City. That was especially true of Leaf Daudenier. Clenching his fists, he called out to the Yi clan experts. This time, he had indeed encountered a great opportunity. Brother Gu, Brother No Flower, Brother Xia, I'll be leaving first. Yi Wudao waved at Gu Santong and the others, then left with the Yi clan cultivators. Let's go. Gu Santong and the rest took a deep breath. They had all gained a lot, and now it was time to go back and digest it. The various elders of the Great Sagelands came to provide support. People from Immortal Palace, Peacock, and the others also appeared. People from Purple Afterglow Holy Land and Jade Lake Holy Land also appeared. However, they were extremely nervous, because they didn't know how Lin Xian, Morong Qingqing, and Shen Jingqiu were doing. Had they come out? Among them, Invincible King from Purple Afterglow Holy Land and Jade Lake Holy Land also frowned after asking. They didn't see Morong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu in the sky, which made them extremely worried. Whoosh! The Great Guardian flew over and quickly transmitted a message to the two of them, telling them not to worry. The Jade Lake Holy Daughter and Purple Afterglow Holy Daughter were in seclusion in Immortal Palace, and would probably come out after a while. Hearing this, the people from Jade Lake and Purple Afterglow Holy Land were stunned at first. Then they heaved a sigh of relief. They knew about the relationship between Morong Qingqing, Shen Jingqiu, and Lin Xian. The Great Guardian couldn't be wrong. Great Guardian, please inform us when the Holy Maiden comes out of seclusion. They left with the geniuses of the Holy Land. The Great Guardian brought Peacock and the others back to Immortal Palace. Everyone was taken away, and the sky was clear again. Fire Qilin Cave. At this moment, however, the atmosphere was heavy. Fire Qilin Crown Prince's face darkened when he learned that Huomuzhen had only obtained 1/6 of the heavenly flame. When he learned that the Great Void Divine Furnace had been taken away by a mysterious person, he was even more furious. Trash, a bunch of trash. The Qilin Crown Prince roared, and the entire Fire Qilin Cave shook. Those invincible kings were trembling, and they didn't dare to speak. Did you get the Qilin Eye? The Qilin Crown Prince asked in a deep voice. Huomuzhen and the others knelt on the ground and said respectfully, "We have the Qilin Eye." Hearing this, the Taigu kings heaved a sigh of relief, and the Qilin Crown Prince narrowed his eyes. As for you? The Qilin Crown Prince looked at Huomuzhen, and Huomuzhen trembled. Although he was the 7th Lord and his bloodline power was strong, he was like an ant in front of the Qilin Crown Prince. He couldn't resist the bloodline power of the Qilin Crown Prince. Even the blood in his body had solidified. This was the power of the Crown Prince, and his bloodline power was terrifying. In the entire world, only a few other crown princes and princesses could go against him. Other than them, no one could go against him. Reporting to the crown prince, Lin Xian also disappeared with the void divine furnace. We don't know if he's dead or alive, and I suspect that he has something to do with the disappearance of the great void divine furnace. What, Lin Xian? The Qilin crown prince frowned. It wasn't the first time he heard this name. Lin Xian was arrogant, but he didn't think that Lin Xian had the power to get the great void divine furnace. According to Huomuzhen, even Yin Nantian, the successor of the great emperor, couldn't get it. How could Lin Xian do it? At this moment, the primordial king said, reporting to the crown prince, we didn't find any trace of Lin Xian outside Skyfire City. He was either killed, or he had something to do with the great void divine furnace. That kid didn't come out? The Qilin crown prince's eyes flickered, and he looked at Huomuzhen again. All right, you'll be in charge of this. This is a good chance for you to atone for your mistakes. You have to seize it. Don't worry, Crown Prince. I'll definitely find that kid. Huomuzhen nodded quickly. After handing over 1/6 of the heavenly flame and the Qilin eye, Huomuzhen immediately left the Fire Qilin cave with his men. They headed to the Immortal Palace. They wanted to confirm whether Lin Xian was dead or alive. If Lin Xian was dead, then this matter had nothing to do with him. However, if he was still alive, he definitely knew the whereabouts of the Great Void Divine Furnace. Therefore, as long as Lin Xian was alive, they would capture him at all costs. The group of people arrived outside the Immortal Palace and shouted for Lin Xian to come out. After the Immortal Palace's guardian heard this, he frowned and reported. There was no need to reply to them. If they dared to attack, activate the formation and beat them out. Although the Great Guardian didn't know what had happened, he knew that Lin Xian and the others might have obtained some kind of treasure, which provoked the Fire Qilin cave to hunt them down. After all, Lin Xian and the others came out 2 months in advance. Furthermore, Lin Xian didn't look frustrated at all. Instead, he looked excited. It was obvious that he had obtained a treasure. Therefore, the Great Guardian had to ensure the safety of Lin Xian and the others. After the Guardian received the order, he immediately returned. Chapter 2988. You're courting death. Attack. Tear apart their array formation. Huomuzhen went crazy. The prodigies of Fire Qilin cave behind him quickly attacked. A sea of fire fell from the sky, sizzling as it pierced through the void. The terrifying power surged forward like an avalanche. Huomuzhen attacked even more fiercely. Boom. Millions of Fire Qilins roared and surged. The entire world seemed to be torn apart. Stubborn. Activate the array formation. The guardians of Immortal Palace also shouted coldly. They quickly controlled the array disk. Immediately, a peerless array formation erupted, and a terrifying aura enveloped heaven and earth. Streaks of murderous sword light soared into the sky, slashing in all directions with mountain-like pressure. Boom. 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 The people of Fire Qilin cave were indeed terrifying. However, Immortal Palace's protective array was even more terrifying. In the end, the prodigies of Fire Qilin cave were forced to retreat, and the sea of fire in the sky was torn apart. A few other prodigies were pierced by the peerless killing intent, and their blood dyed the sky red. Huomuzhen's arm was numb, and he was trembling with anger. Damn it, I don't believe that you won't come out. They gritted their teeth and waited outside Immortal Palace. This wait lasted for half a month. However, there was no trace of Lin Xian at all. 7th generation, should we continue waiting? The prodigies of Fire Qilin cave had lost their patience. Huomuzhen's face was gloomy. He reckoned that they could not continue waiting. Moreover, if the other party wanted to use the teleportation array to leave, they would not be able to wait there. Huomuzhen thought for a moment, gritted his teeth, and said, "Follow me." The group of people soared into the sky and disappeared into the void. 7th generation, should we go back? But what about the Crown Prince? The prodigies of Fire Qilin cave were worried. Huomuzhen laughed sinisterly. Let's not go back first. I'll think of a way to get that kid out. Get him out. Everyone was puzzled. They had forcefully attacked Immortal Palace, but they could not get that kid out. What else could they do? Soon they understood. They even revealed sinister smiles. as expected of the seventh generation. His method was indeed mysterious. It turned out that Huomuzhen had gone directly to the human city and began to spread the news that Lin Xian had died in Heavenly Fire City. At first, everyone did not believe it. Who was Lin Xian? That was Central Emperor. He was the top genius of the younger generation of the human clan. How could anything happen to him? However, the more this news spread, the more it became. It was even described in vivid and colorful ways, causing everyone to be suspicious. Could it be that Lin Xian had really fallen? It was said that he was mercilessly killed by the formation, while trying to snatch a peerless treasure. That's not right. Why did I hear that he was instantly killed by a mysterious expert? In short, that kid was really dead. That's right, I remember that outside Skyflame City. I didn't see that kid. Many geniuses from the sacred grounds spoke. Everyone was in an uproar. Indeed, ever since they entered Heaven Flame City, they had never seen Lin Xian's figure again. This was really suspicious. After all, they had seen Yi Wudao and the other human geniuses. However, Lin Xian still hadn't appeared. Could it be that he had really fallen? This news quickly spread throughout the world. Everyone was shocked. After all, Lin Xian was not an ordinary person. He was the top genius of the human clan, the hope of the human clan. Now that he had fallen, it was definitely an earth-shattering event. When Gu Santong, No Flower, and the others heard this, they were speechless. They went to find Yi Wudao. However, Yi Wudao was in seclusion and could not see him for the time being. What's going on? Let's ask Immortal Palace first. The two of them went to Immortal Palace, but the protective formation was activated. They did not see Lin Xian either. This made them even more confused. Could it be that Huomuzhen was telling the truth? Many sacred grounds and sects asked Immortal Palace to investigate Lin Xian's situation. However, they were all blocked by the head enforcer. The matter outside was in an uproar. Those from Immortal Palace were also discussing it. Peacock and the others were also worried. The head enforcer's face was gloomy. What were these people from Fire Qilin Cave doing? It seemed that the thinking brush was forcing Lin Xian to appear. What were they planning? Could it be that the palace master had really obtained a peerless treasure? The head enforcer did not know. He did not plan to take the initiative to deal with this matter, because he really did not know what Fire Qilin Cave was planning. Everything would wait until Lin Xian came out of seclusion. Immortal Palace activated the peerless formation and did not see him. The head enforcer was silent. Could it be that Lin Xian had really fallen? News spread one after another. They wanted to go to Immortal Palace to confirm it, but Immortal Palace was silent. Didn't that mean that what Huomuzhen and the others said was true? This news seemed to have pierced through the sky and quickly spread to the entire world. In an instant, everyone was discussing this matter. After Huomuzhen received the news, he sneered. Kid, let's see what you're going to do this time. If the other party was still alive, he would definitely come out. If the other party did not come out, it meant that he had really been killed. He only needed to wait patiently. The people of Divine Emperor Ridge and Nest of 10,000 Dragons also received the news. The 10,000 ancient races were also discussing. That Lin Xian couldn't have really been killed, right? It was possible that Immortal Palace wouldn't even respond. Haha, that's really good. That kid is going against the 10,000 ancient races. He's dead for sure now. The 10,000 ancient races were excited, but the people of Divine Emperor Ridge and Nest of 10,000 Dragons frowned. Especially the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue. They had entered that mysterious cave. They naturally knew that Lin Xian had mysteriously disappeared. Could it be that Huomuzhen really thought that Lin Xian's disappearance was related to the disappearance of the Void Divine Furnace? No idea. Forget it. Since Huomuzhen had set up this trap, they would just wait patiently. If that kid really came out, there might really be a connection. Feng Yinxue sneered. They were all watching silently. At the same time, Yin Nantian and Zhan Wushuang were also secretly watching the world's movements. The outside world was in an uproar, but inside Immortal Palace and Stellar Hall, it was abnormally quiet. On this day, Lin Xian opened his eyes. Boom, boom, boom. Along with his awakening, A huge vortex appeared above Stellar Hall. Countless thunderbolts descended. Lin Xian let out a long roar and rushed out. What was going on? Countless elders rushed over. The martial artists of Immortal Palace also looked up at the sky. The thunder in the sky was too terrifying. It was densely packed, as if it was going to destroy Immortal Palace. Heavens, could it be that someone is attacking us? This is a heavenly tribulation. Someone is breaking through. Exclamations and discussions sounded one after another. Chief Protector, Li Xuanxian, and the others were the first to appear in the sky. Palace Master. They naturally saw Lin Xian's figure. Don't be nervous. In breaking through, defend the other buildings, and the martial artists of Immortal Palace. Lin Xian said, and then disappeared into the void in an instant. The Palace Master is breaking through. Heavens, what realm is he breaking through to? Is there a heavenly tribulation at this time? Chapter 2989. They knew that a normal breakthrough would not trigger a heavenly tribulation, unless it was a critical breakthrough, such as a supremacy entering the king realm, or a king entering the sage realm. Perhaps such a breakthrough would happen. However, a breakthrough within the king realm would not trigger a heavenly tribulation. Of course, there were exceptions, and that was the monstrous geniuses. Peerless geniuses, top monstrous geniuses, were so powerful that they broke through the laws of the world. Therefore, their breakthroughs would usually trigger a heavenly tribulation. The heavenly tribulation above was extremely terrifying. It lasted for about half a day before it slowly disappeared. Lin Xian landed. Palace Master, are you alright? Li Xuanxian, the Great Guardian, and the other elders all flew over. Peacock and the others below were also watching nervously. After all, the lightning above was too terrifying. It made their hearts skip a beat. The faces of the kings changed drastically. They could not withstand such violent lightning. However, when they arrived above and saw Lin Xian, they were extremely shocked. Lin Xian did not have any injuries on his body. The 9 yang divine body shone so brightly that everyone could not open their eyes. The divine fire on it flickered, making their hearts beat wildly. Li Xuanxian, the Great Guardian, and the others were stunned at first. When they sensed Lin Xian's aura, they were stunned. Palace Master, you? Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. That's right, I'm already an invincible king. He was too happy. The red pill that he swallowed previously allowed him to break through from an 8-star king to a 9-star king. Now he had reached the last stage of the king realm, the invincible king. This made Lin Xian wild with joy. He was one step closer to the sage realm. The others were extremely shocked because Lin Xian's real age was not old. In fact, it could be said that he was very young. There were not many invincible kings at this age in history. If this news was spread, it would definitely shock the world. They did not dare to imagine Lin Xian's combat strength. Previously, when Lin Xian was a peerless almighty, he could easily kill an invincible king. Now that he was an invincible king, his strength was heaven-defying. Perhaps ordinary invincible kings would not be a threat to him at all. Boom! Boom! Everyone wanted to ask more questions, but Lin Xian raised his eyebrows and looked down. Star Palace. A few silhouettes rushed out from inside and directly rushed into the clouds. The lightning tribulation that had disappeared from the sky appeared once again. And this time, it was even more terrifying. What was going on? Could it be that someone else was undergoing tribulation? They looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian was invincible. If it wasn't him, then who was it? Could it be? Sure enough, it was the dark red divine dragon, Morong Qingqing, Shenjingqiu, and even the snow-white little monkey. The 4 of them soared into the sky and entered the thunder. After another half a day, all 4 of them landed. Ha ha ha! The dark red divine dragon laughed wildly. He had also broken through to the invincible king realm. The dragon blood in his body surged, emitting a peerless aura. He was like a divine dragon, making people look up to him. The snow-white monkey didn't change much, but its fur became smoother. It blinked its large eyes and came to Lin Xian's shoulder. It jumped around happily. Morong Qingqing and Shenjingqiu also flew down. Brother Xian, Brother Lin Xian. They came to Lin Xian's side, and were very happy, because they had also broken through to the invincible king realm. It had to be said that the treasures obtained from the void divine furnace were too shocking and heaven-defying. It allowed everyone to break through. Now, other than the snow-white little marquis whose realm was unknown, Lin Xian and the other three had all broken through to the invincible king realm. 4 invincible kings, and all of them had experienced the heavenly tribulation. Li Xuanxian, the great guardian, and the others were dumbfounded. The elders were even more dumbfounded. They could be considered experienced and knowledgeable peerless experts. But this was the first time they had seen so many monsters transcending the tribulation together. This was truly a golden age. There were many geniuses and monsters. This time, the path of the great emperor would be even more difficult. Li Xuanxian sighed. The great guardian came back to his senses and told Lin Xian about what had happened in the past few days. Lin Xian sneered after hearing it. This Huamuzhen really didn't know what was good for him. He actually dared to spread the rumor that he had died in Sky Flame City. Let's go and meet him. Lin Xian waved his hand and left the immortal palace with the dark red divine dragon, Morong Qingqing, Shen Jingxiu, and the snow-white little monkey. Before he broke through to the invincible king realm, he was already able to compete with those people. Now that he had broken through, his strength had increased greatly. Those people were no longer his match. According to the information provided by the great guardian, Lin Xian and the others quickly flew into the distance. While Lin Xian and the others were looking for Huamuzhen, some heavenly tribulations also descended in other places. Yi family. The golden thunder descended, as if it was going to destroy the world, causing the elders and disciples of the Yi family to tremble. The Yi family patriarch's eyes flickered. Was he finally going to transcend the tribulation? And it was the golden thunder. This thunder was too terrifying. It could easily kill an ordinary invincible king. Would Wu Dao be able to withstand it? According to some old ancestors and saints in the family, the path of the great emperor was about to open. If Wu Dao could break through to the invincible king realm before it opened, it would definitely be a great thing. Half a day later, Yi Wu Dao came out. Her sacred blood surged, and her sacred body was like the sun, making it difficult for people to look at her directly. And the aura on her body shocked the elders. Invincible king realm. Their sacred bodies had finally broken through to the invincible king realm. On the other side, the Alcate Saint Wuchen and some other powerful young geniuses were all transcending the tribulation, trying to break through to the invincible king realm. Those sacred leaders and sect masters knew that a golden age was about to descend. In the sky, a few streams of light streaked across, extremely powerful. They brought with them invisible waves of air that surged in all directions. Who is it? So powerful. When they passed by some cities, many people exclaimed. The older generation raised their heads and used their eye techniques to observe. They were scared out of their wits. That kid came out. Wasn't he dead? Elder, who are you? Why are you so arrogant? Grandpa, what did you see? The young disciples asked. It was Lin Xian. Lin Xian had come out. What? Lin Xian? Are you talking about that dead kid? Those young disciples were dumbfounded. Lin Xian and the others passed by domineeringly. They didn't take the black earth, but flew directly in the air, bringing with them powerful air waves. After all, Lin Xian came out this time to dispel the rumors. He wanted to prove to everyone that he didn't die in Skyfire City. Therefore, he naturally had to be more domineering. Sure enough, when they passed by the cities, the experts in the cities all checked and were scared out of their wits. News spread from these cities. Lin Xian didn't die. Lin Xian had appeared. Golden Universe City. At this moment the city was excited. They received news from their friends, fellow disciples, and even their families. One by one they screamed. Lin Xian didn't die. Heavens, someone saw Lin Xian come out. He had already flown past a good city. Chapter 2990. There was a magnificent hall in the city, and no one dared to enter it. That was where the prodigies of the Fire Qilin Grotto were. At that moment, the prodigies of the Fire Qilin Grotto rushed in. 7th generation, this is bad. He rushed in. Inside the hall, Huomuzhen opened his eyes and frowned. What's the matter? Why are you so flustered? Lin Xian, that Lin Xian came out. Many people saw him. What did you say? Huomuzhen suddenly stood up. The flames on his body surged into the sky, piercing through the void. You said that kid came out. Damn it, he's still alive. Huomuzhen burst out with a piercing cold light. Where is he? Bring me there. His figure flashed and he left the hall. The other prodigies of the Fire Qilin Grotto also followed. This kid is actually alive. Could it be that he's related to the Void Divine Furnace? He must have contacted a super sage and stolen the Void Divine Furnace. Kill him, no, capture him, and bring him back to the Fire Qilin Grotto. We must make him hand over the Void Divine Furnace. We must tear this kid into pieces. The prodigies were driven mad. Huomuzhen was even more murderous as he took the lead. After coming out, his gaze swept across the surroundings. With a suction force from his palm, 7 or 8 human warriors were instantly sucked in front of him. What are you trying to do? The warriors of the human race trembled in fear. How powerful was Huomuzhen? The 7th generation. It was said that his ancient power was at 50,000. It was very easy for such a person to kill an invincible king, let alone them. Huomuzhen did not waste any time, and directly collected their souls. Instantly, the bodies of these human warriors exploded. Their souls were distorted and dissipated in mid-air. Huomuzhen did not care about this. He retracted his palm and burned the corpses to ashes. The next moment, a sinister smile appeared on his face. Kid, you can't escape. Boom! He soared into the sky and tore through the void. Behind him, countless prodigies of the Fire Qilin Grotto followed. The other warriors in the city trembled. The other party's methods were too powerful. Even the invincible king's faces turned pale. Damn it, this demon is finally gone. Many young warriors lay on the ground, their clothes drenched in cold sweat. However, the invincible kings and the older generation powerhouses had solemn expressions. He was searching her soul. What was he searching for? Damn it, he was collecting information on Lin Xian. Could it be that he was going to attack Lin Xian? Let's go, let's follow them and take a look. These people soared into the air, and at the same time, they quickly sent messages to their friends, fellow disciples and family clans. After all, the 7th generation lord of the Fire Qilin Cave wanted to make a move against Lin Xian. This was a world-shaking event. The last time such an earth-shattering battle occurred was when Lin Xian fought against the 10th generation by Qianshan. At that time, Bai Qianshan was only a 10th generation Bai Qianshan. The heavens chosen from the human clan were so oppressive that they could hardly breathe. Now, the 7th generation of the Fire Qilin Cave had appeared. This was a terrifying existence that was many times more terrifying than Bai Qianshan. If such a person wanted to target Lin Xian, would Lin Xian still be able to survive? These people didn't know. They began to worry about Lin Xian. This Lin Xian shouldn't have appeared. They didn't expect that the rumors of his death had just been broken. And now he was facing the pursuit of a top heavens chosen from the Archean era. It would be difficult for him to resist. That was for sure. Lin Xian had killed Bai Qianshan a few months ago. At that time, he had won with great difficulty. Bai Qianshan had 38,000 Archean era power, while Lin Xian had 40,000 at most. However, Huomuzhen had a conservative estimate of 50,000 Archean era power. There was a difference of 10,000 Archean era power between the two sides. This was a gap between heaven and earth. Huomuzhen could probably easily kill Lin Xian. Damn it, was the Fire Qilin Caves chosen so powerful? Were the 10,000 ancient races so terrifying? Could it be that the human clan really couldn't resist them? It was difficult. After all, they were the descendants of the great emperors. Moreover, they had been passed down since ancient times. Sighs and shakes of heads could be heard. They sped up and quickly followed. At this moment, the cultivators in the other cities also received the news. Many people soared into the sky, wanting to witness this battle. It was even more so for the 10,000 ancient races. Among them, the nest of 10,000 dragons, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue also received the news. It was the same for the Battle Tribe and the Heavenly Human Tribe. In an instant, these Archean eras chosen moved out one after another. The Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinxue, Zhan Wushuang, and the others arrived in a domineering manner. They absolutely would not allow the fire-chilling cave to go to Lin Xian alone. Lin Xian might very well have the secret of the void divine furnace. They naturally wanted a share of the loot. This kid's strength is about the same as mine. However, if we are serious and use our trump cards, we can definitely kill this kid. Moreover, if we join forces this time, that kid won't be able to escape. The Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinxue, and the others discussed. On the other side, Zhan Wushuang's face was gloomy as he gritted his teeth. I must take revenge. Last time, he lost to Lin Xian due to carelessness. This time, he would use his ultimate trump card to kill his opponent. The mountains were like dragons, majestic and spectacular. In the sky, Lin Xian and the others were flying rapidly. Suddenly, he frowned and waved his hand to stop. What's wrong, big brother Lin Xian? Shinjingqiu Morong Qingqing, and the others were puzzled. The dark red divine dragon waved its dragon claws. Damn it, no one is coming, right? That's right, they didn't expect to come so quickly. Lin Xian nodded. It seemed that these people had been paying attention to him. Great, is it those people from the fire-chilling cave? Great, I can't help but want to make a move. The dark red divine dragon grinned. He had already broken through to the invincible king realm, and his strength had undergone an earth-shattering change. Not to mention him, Morong Qingqing and Shinjingqiu were the same. Lin Xian was even more terrifying. This kid's primordial power was probably so terrifying that it was unbelievable. As expected, Morong Qingqing and Shinjingqiu were also eager to give it a try. Then let's wait for them here. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back, his expression calm. Not long after, a powerful energy fluctuation came from the front, and a monstrous wave of fire surged over. There were even terrifying roars. Countless beasts prostrated on the ground below. A large area of the forest trembled, and large cracks appeared in the void and the ground. What a terrifying scene! If it were before, Morong Qingqing and Shinjingqiu would definitely be moved, and their expressions would change drastically. But now they were also incomparably calm because their strength had greatly increased. Lin Xian looked at this scene calmly. He was expressionless. At the same time, he sensed that there were countless auras flying over not only in front of him, but also in all directions. They should be other people. Sure enough, countless figures appeared in the surroundings. They did not dare to approach at all, and could only watch from afar. However, with their strength, they could see clearly even from tens of thousands of miles away. If a great battle broke out, they could even use the array formation and retreat 1,000,000 miles away to watch the battle. However, in their opinion, there was no need to use the array formation at all, because Lin Xian and the others were no match for Huomuzhen at all. In fact, they couldn't even withstand a single move from Huomuzhen. Was that really Lin Xian? Chapter 2991. Even the dragon beside him was there, as well as Saint Lady Wuxia and the Jade Lake Saint. Everyone exclaimed. This time, these two peerless beauties would probably suffer together with this kid. Who would have thought that the top genius of the human race would be hunted down by the 7th generation lord? Perhaps Saint Lady Wuxia and the Jade Lake Saint would not have thought of that. This was fate. In this era, one must not provoke the 10,000 Archean races, especially the 3 Archean royal families. They were supreme existences. Even the clan of the ancients did not dare to provoke them easily. Everyone shook their heads and sighed. They thought that Lin Xian would not be able to escape today. Huomuzhen and the others appeared in front of him. They stared at Lin Xian. Kid, it's really you. Huomuzhen's expression was ferocious, and the fire-chilling cave's geniuses behind him laughed arrogantly. Ha ha ha, kid, I didn't expect you to really appear. You're still alive. The heavens are really helping me. Kneel down obediently and tell me, did you steal the void divine furnace with the saints? Angry roars sounded one after another. When the others heard this, they were extremely shocked. Void divine furnace, what was that? From the looks of it, Lin Xian seemed to have obtained something incredible in Skyfire City. No wonder the fire-chilling cave's geniuses were chasing after him. Kid, tell me obediently, where is the void divine path? Hand it over obediently. I can consider giving you a quick death. Otherwise, I'll let you know what it means to live a life worse than death. And the dragon beside you, as well as these two women, none of them will live. If I tell you the whereabouts of the void divine furnace, you'll give me a quick death." Lin Xian raised his eyebrows and asked indifferently, "That's right, kid. As long as you hand it over obediently, I promise to give you a quick death. I can even consider letting the two women beside you go." Huo Muzhen revealed a sinister smile. In his opinion, the other party must be afraid. In fact, thinking about it, the fire Qilin cave was so powerful. No matter how strong the other party was, how could the immortal palace contend against them? "If you tell me, I can protect your life and spare your life." At this moment, another cold voice came from the sky, followed by countless dragon roars. The people from the nest of 10,000 dragons had arrived. Huo Muzhen's face turned gloomy. Damn it, these guys just won't leave. The Fire Dragon King descended and stared at Lin Xian. "Brat, I guarantee that you will not die. You're actually here too? Today is really a good day." On the other side, a delicate laugh sounded. The void around Morong Qingqing shattered as she was enveloped by a powerful force. Everyone was in an uproar and trembled. How could someone target Morong Qingqing? Lin Xian frowned. It seemed that the people from Divine Phoenix Ridge had arrived. As expected, Feng Yingxue led the people of the Divine Phoenix Ridge and arrived in an imposing manner. Feng Yingxue stared at Morong Qingqing with her beautiful eyes. Her body could not help but tremble. That was a sign of excitement. Morong Qingqing's face was cold as she coldly snorted. Boundless multicolored light blossomed from her body, forming an illusion of a phoenix to block the sealing power. "Stop struggling. You can't escape from my grasp. I must take you away today. Brat, I didn't expect you to still be alive. Just nice, I will kill you personally this time." Another powerful aura descended, causing everyone's scalp to tingle. Zhan Wushuang, the #1 genius of the war tribe. He actually came out too. Everyone was terrified. They knew that Zhan Wushuang and Lin Xian were enemies. It seemed that Zhan Wushuang was going to make a move this time. Lin Xian glanced at him and shook his head slightly. "Loser, you're not worthy to be my opponent." "What loser?" Everyone was stunned. Heavens, this Lin Xian really dared to say that. That's right. How terrifying is Zhan Wushuang? He should be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Fire Dragon King and the 7th generation Lord. But this Lin Xian actually said that he's a loser? Is he dreaming? The older generation experts also had looks of disbelief on their faces. Zhan Wushuang's face darkened. "Brat, don't be arrogant. I was careless the last time. That's why you succeeded. This time, I will definitely not lose to you." As he spoke, an extremely terrifying power erupted from his body. A domineering aura erupted. When those words entered the ears of the others, it was like a clap of thunder. Zhan Wushuang was really defeated. Defeated by Lin Xian. How strong is this brat? As expected of the Central Emperor. He's really too strong. Has he already displayed such strength? If he becomes a sage, he'll definitely be heaven-defying. Don't say that. Don't forget how terrifying the Great Success Divine Body was back then. That was able to defeat the 10,000 Archean tribes. Everyone recalled the scene where Lin Xian entered the Great Success Divine Body and fought against the 10,000 Archean tribes alone. Just thinking about it made them excited. A bunch of trash. What Great Success Divine Body? It's so difficult to attain a Great Success Divine Body. How could this brat succeed? Even if he has the 9 Yang Divine Body, he's still trash if he can't grow. King Zhan Wushuang looked around, his gaze piercing through the void. The surrounding experts were so frightened that they trembled. Even the invincible kings felt their scalps tingle. They didn't dare to speak anymore. Seeing that Zhan Wushuang and Feng Yingxue were about to attack, Huo Muzhen shouted coldly, "Stop! I, Fire Qilin Cave, will handle this." He stood out directly, his body emitting a cold aura. "Brat, I'll give you one last chance. Obediently accept your death, or be captured by me and tortured until you wish you were dead." Lin Xian was an important witness. He wouldn't let such a person fall into the hands of the Divine Phoenix Ridge, or the nest of 10,000 dragons. He had to make the first move. Lin Xian looked at the other party and grinned with a trace of disdain in his eyes. Damn you, what are you laughing at? Huomuzen's face immediately darkened. How dare you laugh at me when I'm about to die? Lin Xian said with a smile. I'm thinking, is qilin meat delicious? I haven't tried it yet. You're courting death. Huomuzen was instantly enraged. You want to eat my meat? You're courting death. Brat, don't think that just because you can defeat Zhang Wushuang, you can show off in front of me. Let me tell you, my strength has surpassed Zhang Wushuang. It's very easy to kill you. Hearing this, Zhang Wushuang snorted coldly, extremely unhappy. The kings of the human race trembled. Indeed, Huomuzen had such strength that he could look down on Lin Xian. Buzz. Qilin finger. Huomuzen put one hand behind his back and extended the other. On the tip of his finger, endless runes condensed to form a qilin. Accompanying his finger, it pointed forward. I can kill you with one finger. Qilin finger, the Qilin cave's great ability, was extremely terrifying. With a point of his finger, the heavens and earth would collapse, and the sun and moon would lose their light. The martial artists who were watching the battle trembled, and many of them knelt down. It was too terrifying. It could easily kill an invincible king. He wondered if Lin Xian would be able to withstand it. He probably couldn't block it and could only survive by dodging. Chapter 2992. He was no longer the same person he was a few months ago. His strength had undergone an earth-shattering change. Since the other party was so arrogant in courting death, he would fulfill his wish. A piercing cold light burst out from his eyes as endless flames condensed at his fingertips and turned into a sword qi that shot into the sky. The sword qi was sharp and oppressive as it tore through the void with a terrifying dragon soul aura. Boom! 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 In the sky, the Qilin phantom was split apart by the sword, and the flames in the sky were extinguished by the sword qi. The terrifying sword Dao aura blew on Huomuzen's body, causing his entire body to turn cold. Damn it, this was impossible. Huomuzen's pupils constricted. How could the other party's sword qi be so powerful? How could it break his Qilin finger? He could not believe it. However, while he was in a daze, the sword slashed directly on his body. Splat! Blood splattered out. Bang! 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 Huomuzen flew out 30,000 miles before stopping. There was a sword mark on his body that had almost split his body apart. Even his internal organs could be seen. If not for the fact that Huomuzen was the Fire Spirit Grotto's Sky Pride and had a strong physique, he reckoned that this sword strike would be able to split him in half. How is this possible? Huomuzen's eyes widened in disbelief. Previously, the other party was only able to contend with Zhang Wushuang, but his strength was completely above Zhang Wushuang's. It would be very easy for him to kill the other party. That was why he dared to crush the other party with one finger. But now, the other party's casual sword light had broken his Qilin finger. Not only that, but he had also injured him. Could it be that the other party had hidden his strength when he was fighting with Zhang Wushuang? But that was impossible. He could not believe it. For a moment he was stunned. Not only him, but everyone around was also stunned. The Sky Prides of the Fire Qilin Grotto widened their eyes, as if they had seen a ghost. The Fire Dragon King and Feng Yingshi's pupils constricted. Zhang Wushuang's body trembled as shock filled his heart. This was impossible. He screamed. The surrounding humans and 10,000 Archean race spectators were all stunned. Lin Xian's sword had injured Huomuzen. What kind of joke was this? This is your strength. You want to kill me with this kind of strength? You want me to live a life worse than death? Isn't this a little too laughable? Lin Xian withdrew his sword radiance and said indifferently, Damn brat, you're courting death. Huomuzen roared and charged forward. His speed was extremely fast, and the flames on his body were monstrous. He was angry, really angry. He would never let the other party off. Wang! Above his head the bronze pagoda appeared. Its aura was majestic, and it transformed into countless runes that formed a divine chain that swept towards Lin Xian. Should we use our weapons? Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he drew his Fire Qilin sword and slashed out. Boom! Boom! As soon as the sword light appeared, Countless divine chains were immediately shattered. However, this bronze pagoda was not ordinary. The runes on it were carved by a saint. At this moment, as it flickered, it truly possessed earth-shattering energy. Although many of the divine runic chains were broken, even more of them flew out and completely enveloped Lin Xian. Let's see how you're going to dodge this time. Huo Muzhen sneered when he saw that it had enveloped Lin Xian. Those from the Fire Qilin cave heaved a sigh of relief. They knew it. How could Lin Xian defeat their 7th-generation lord? The 7th-generation lord must have underestimated Lin Xian. The Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinxue, Zhan Wushuang, and the surrounding experts of the immemorial celestial race looked solemn. Was the previous attack careless, or was it a coincidence? Or was Lin Xian too powerful? They should be able to find out soon. Do you think you can trap me? Lin Xian was imprisoned in the void, but he was not afraid at all. He was not worried at all. Kid, don't be so arrogant. The power of my bronze pagoda is not something you can imagine. I'll show you what it's like next. Huo Muzhen sneered and formed a seal with his palms, channeling those mysterious runes. Turn into ashes. Those runes erupted with unparalleled power, and endless Qilin shadows flickered. A terrifying flame burst out and enveloped Lin Xian, wanting to burn him to ashes. This was a flame carved by a saint. It was absolutely terrifying. Is that so? Then I really want to see it. Lin Xian sneered. Light bloomed from his body, and endless divine flames danced. Along with the great dragon sword soul, it turned into sword qi and rushed into the sky. At this moment he was like a sun, blooming with thousands of rays of light. Boom! Boom! All of the runic flames were torn apart, and the cage was torn apart. It was completely shattered. How was this possible? The people from the Fire Qilin cave were stunned, and Huo Muzhen was even more dumbstruck. The surrounding people were all terrified. What kind of sword technique was this? It was too powerful. Feng Yinxue, the Fire Dragon King, and Zhan Wushuang were all stunned. Lin Xian was very powerful, and he punched the fragments. Lin Xian walked out forcefully. Your attack is really not that good. Next, I'll show you my sword technique. Accompanying his voice, the sword qi on his body was like a rainbow, rushing into the sky and illuminating a radius of 1,000,000 miles. Everyone trembled under the sword light. The invincible kings were even more horrified, and many of the archaic creatures knelt on the ground. Damn it, this aura! Feng Yinxue and the Fire Dragon King's expressions finally changed. Huo Muzhen screamed. An invincible king! You actually broke through and became an invincible king. They were all stunned. Zhan Wushuang's pupils constricted. How was this possible? The other party had broken through. When he fought with the other party previously, although the other party was powerful, he was only an 8-star king. It had only been a few months, but the other party had broken through and become an invincible king. This was too unbelievable. When the others heard this, they screamed in surprise. An invincible king! Heavens, this kid broke through and became an invincible king. His real age was very young. An invincible king who was dozens of years old. Was this kid going to defy the heavens? These people were crazy. This was definitely a monster. Damn it, impossible. You must have obtained the void divine furnace. I'm going to kill you. Huo Muzhen screamed crazily. The bloodline power in his body surged, burning fiercely with the flames on his body. The green pagoda above his head received the power of the bloodline power, and its power instantly increased, sweeping in all directions. So what if you're an invincible king? I've been an invincible king for a long time. With my blood running through your veins, you can go to hell. Huo Muzhen roared crazily. The other party's strength and talent were indeed beyond his imagination. Therefore, he planned to destroy the other party's physical body and take away the other party's soul. He would not give the other party a chance to grow. Just as Huo Muzhen made his move, Feng Yinxue also yelled and attacked Morong Qingqing unexpectedly. She knew that she had to attack. Otherwise, when Lin Xian was free, she would not be able to attack Morong Qingqing. Chapter 2993. Morong Qingqing shouted. Instead of dodging, she charged forward. She was now an invincible king, and her strength had increased greatly. The power of the five-colored phoenix bloodline in her body had become more powerful than before. Therefore, she was not afraid even when facing a powerful ninth-generation genius like Feng Yinxue. He'll play with you. The dark red divine dragon stared at the fire dragon king and revealed a sinister smile. He had long wanted to attack. The fire dragon king snorted, "You're not my match. I'll capture you and take your soul to see where you're from." Another two battles erupted, sweeping across millions of miles, scaring everyone into retreating frantically. Many experts watched from a distance using arrays. Huomuzhen revealed a sinister smile. "Your woman has been captured by the divine phoenix Ridge. Aren't you worried at all?" He was too happy. Feng Yinxue was now Moron Qingcheng's opponent, and he could definitely affect this kid in front of him. As long as this kid was distracted, he would have a chance to kill him. However, he was disappointed. Lin Xian did not care at all. "My woman is not so easy to capture. Now you'd better think about your own safety, because you've completely angered me." Lin Xian's eyes burst out with a biting cold light. The great dragon sword soul roared, and a terrifying aura erupted again. "How dare you look down on me?" Huomuzhen roared. After using the power of his bloodline, his strength was extremely powerful. He activated the bronze pagoda and flew out, wanting to kill Lin Xian. Lin Xian waved the fire Qilin sword and activated the great dragon sword soul, multiplying its power. With one slash, the bronze pagoda was sent flying. Buzz! He clenched his left fist and turned it into a golden crow. The void exploded, and Huomuzhen was sent flying. He spat out large mouthfuls of blood, and countless cracks appeared on his body. "Impossible!" He screamed crazily. How could his opponent be so powerful? He had completely suppressed him. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people widened their eyes in disbelief. The people of the Fire Qilin cave screamed. Their seventh-generation master was injured. His body was shattered by his opponent. Heavens, this was a fact that they dared not accept even in their dreams. Their lord of the seventh generation was so powerful that he was invincible among the human race. But now, he was actually injured by an ant in their eyes. This was unacceptable to them. Damn it, how could this brat be so strong? Zhan Wushuang's body started to tremble, and his face was filled with shock. Previously, when he came, he still wanted to take revenge. But now he hesitated, because he realized that the other party had become very strong, unbelievably strong. He knew how powerful Huomuzhen was. Even he didn't have the confidence to win against him. But now, he had easily injured Huomuzhen. He didn't even dare to imagine what would happen if he were to be beaten by such strength. However, this shouldn't be the case. The last time he had fought with him was a few months ago. Although the other party had defeated him, he could tell that the other party had used his full strength. How could the other party's strength increase so quickly? What had she experienced in the past few months? Damn it! He didn't believe that someone could undergo such a tremendous change in strength in such a short period of time. Unless he had obtained a heaven-defying opportunity. But he had been with the other party in Sky Flame City. In that mysterious cave, he had only obtained 1/6 of the Sky Flame. And the other party didn't seem to have obtained anything. Wait, no, the other party had mysteriously disappeared. The Void Divine Furnace had also mysteriously disappeared. Could it be that the other party had really obtained the Void Divine Furnace? Thinking of this, Zhan Wushuang's scalp went numb, and his eyes turned red. Yin Nantian had once forcefully opened the Void Divine Furnace, although they didn't see how many treasures were inside. However, when a red elixir floated up, it caused everyone to scream in surprise. One could imagine how many treasures there were in the Void Divine Furnace. If the other party had obtained it, perhaps his strength would really undergo an earth-shattering change. Thinking of this, his face turned gloomy. It seemed that he had to make a move. With a whoosh, he turned into a bolt of lightning and instantly charged toward Lin Xian. In an instant, he was behind Lin Xian. With a sinister smile, Zhan Wushuang pulled out a battle sword and directly slashed at Lin Xian's head. The sword light flashed and emitted a terrifying aura. Oh no, it was a sneak attack. The surrounding people screamed in horror. Even the 10,000 Archean race was stunned. Then they laughed sinisterly. It seemed that this kid had offended a lot of people. Who would have thought that he would cause Zhang Wushuang to launch a sneak attack? So what? This kid is dead meat. Damn it, so despicable. The #1 genius of the war tribe actually launched a sneak attack. Lin Xian's supporters roared crazily. Zhang Wushuang's face turned gloomy. The other party was too powerful. He had to kill the other party at all costs and obtain the secret of the Void Divine Furnace. Humph. Lin Xian's eyelids twitched. He naturally felt the peerless killing intent coming from behind him. When he felt that Zhang Wushuang had secretly attacked him, his face turned gloomy, and he snorted coldly. The 9 suns' divine fire on his body flickered and exploded in all directions. It turned into streaks of sword light that were like heavenly swords that drowned the entire space. Clang! The peerless sword light blocked Zhang Wushuang's battle sword and let out an earth-shattering sound. Zhang Wushuang was extremely shocked. The other party did not move. Just the sword chi that was emitted from his body had such terrifying power. Even his arm was numb. This made the killing intent in his heart even more intense. Kid, I admit that you're very strong. But you can go to hell. Zhang Wushuang sneered. On the battle sword, mysterious and terrifying runes burst out and swept across heaven and earth. Lin Xian turned around and shouted coldly. You think you can kill me with your trash abilities? Trash who launched a sneak attack, go to hell. He shouted coldly and pulled out the fire Qilin sword. The dragon sword soul in his body roared crazily. With a slash of the sword, Zhang Wushuang was sent flying with a bang. The arm that was holding the battle sword was smashed into pieces and exploded into a bloody mist. Ah! Zhang Wushuang screamed crazily. His black hair danced wildly, and his eyes shot out terrifying rays of light. Shocking! He could not believe that the other party had seriously injured him with a single attack. What kind of power was that? Huomuzhen attacked together and take him down. Zhang Wushuang's arm reassembled, and he held the battle sword again. He roared crazily. On the other side, the cracks on Huomuzhen's body were quickly healing as his bloodline power exploded. Although 2 against 1 was despicable in his eyes, he had no other choice now. His opponent's strength was far beyond his. If they did not team up, he would be killed. This kid must have the secret of the Great Void Divine Furnace. Perhaps he had eaten the elixir from the Great Void Divine Furnace. That was why his strength had such a shocking change. We must capture him and find out the whereabouts of the Great Void Divine Furnace, Zhang Wushuang said coldly. Chapter 2994. The Fire Dragon King and Feng Yunxue roared. They would not let the 2 of them succeed. However, the 2 of them could not leave at all. The dark red divine dragon entangled the Fire Dragon King. On the other side, Feng Yunxue was even more shocked. She realized that she could not take down Morong Qingqing in a short period of time. This really surprised her. Morong Qingqing, the saintess of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground, was also a genius of the human race. However, in her eyes she was like an ant. Although the other party had the 5-colored phoenix bloodline, she did not know how to use it at all. She only knew how to use brute force, and did not have any cultivation techniques at all. Such a bloodline was a waste in the other party's hands. The other party had at most 30,000 Archean power, but she had 50,000. If she wanted to kill the other party, she could do it in one move. However, after hundreds of moves, she could not do anything to the other party. Damn it, how did the other party's strength change so much? She did not dare to imagine. In front, Lin Xian looked at Huomuzhen and Zhang Wushuang, still not afraid. He said coldly, "Are the 2 of you really going to join forces to kill me? I'll give you a chance. Get lost. Or don't blame me for being merciless." "You want us to get lost? Ha 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 ha, kid. Who do you think you are? I admit that you've become very strong. In a one-on-one fight, we might not be your match. But if we join forces, you won't be able to fight against us at all." Huomuzhen's face was hideous, and Zhang Wushuang's face was cold. "Hand over the Void Divine Furnace obediently, or I'll tear you into pieces. Since you don't know what's good for you, don't blame me for being merciless." Lin Xian's voice was sonorous, and the aura on his body erupted, transforming into divine swords that shook the heavens and earth. At this moment, Lin Xian's aura made everyone's expression change. Countless archean creatures prostrated on the ground. "You're courting death," Huomuzhen shouted coldly, and pulled out a flag. The Qilin flag moved in the air, and the wind and clouds changed. "Kill!" Zhan Wuxia held his battle sword, and his killing intent surged. The two of them joined forces, and their power was terrifying to the extreme. He waved the blazing Qilin sword in his hand, which transformed into a flaming sword radiance that descended from the sky. It was as if 100,000 flaming mountains were crashing down. With a loud bang, the Qilin phantoms that filled the sky were blown away. At the same time, he waved his fist, and used the Nine Suns' divine fist to attack behind him, causing the battle sword to tremble nonstop. The three of them exchanged more than 50 moves in an instant. The heavens and earth within a radius of 1,000,000 li crumbled, as if the world was about to be destroyed. Everyone left. "Damn it, this brat is actually so terrifying." Huomuzhen's face darkened. He realized that even with the two of them working together, they were still unable to take down the other party. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood, staining the Qilin flag. Wang! The banner was surrounded by a boundless blood-red light, burning and releasing an even more terrifying baleful aura. The Kirin flag transformed into a blood Kirin in the air. It roared ferociously and charged forward. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. This was a powerful killing move. It was extremely terrifying, capable of destroying heaven and earth. Behind him, Zhan Wuxia let out a long cry. His bloodline power was also activated. Dazzling runes burst out from the sword in his hand. They turned into streaks of divine light that slashed forward. He slashed out 81 times in a row. The 81 streaks of sword qi formed a sea of sword qi that engulfed Lin Xian. The two killing moves erupted at the same time. For a moment, Lin Xian was in a dangerous situation. "Oh no, that brat is finished. He won't be destroyed, right?" In the distance, thousands of miles away, the cultivators who were watching through the formation screamed in horror. The people from the 10,000 Archean races sneered. "Who does he think he is? Can he really defy the heavens? Today will be the day of his death." With a loud bang, the energy in front of them exploded. The area within a radius of 1,000,000 li was almost turned into nothingness. The terrifying cracks danced like wild dragons. "Ha ha ha ha, brat, let's see how you'll die." Huomuzhen and Zhan Wuxia looked ferocious. "What?" In the next moment, their expressions changed because a palm reached out from the endless void and directly tore the void apart. Lin Xian's body bloomed with divine light as he walked out. "Is this your attack?" "It's only so." His Nine Suns' body emitted billions of rays of light. The fire Qilin sword in his hand turned into a peerless dragon that swept in all directions. Damn it, how strong is his physique? Could it be that his Nine Suns' divine body has become stronger again? These people were about to go crazy. "Big brother Lin Xian, let me help you." In the distance, Shen Jingqiu could no longer watch. These two were too despicable. 2 against 1, too despicable. Moreover, he had just broken through, so he naturally wanted to test his skills. Therefore she quickly flew over. "Holy Maiden Xia!" When the people in the distance saw this scene, they exclaimed. Although the other party was a human prodigy, he was still slightly inferior to these top primordial prodigies. It was more than just a little inferior. It was estimated to be 20,000 units of primordial power. A single glance from the other party would be enough to kill him. Everyone began to worry for Shen Jingqiu. Sure enough, Zhan Wuxia turned his head and stared at Shen Jingqiu with a sneer. "You reckless fool, go to hell for me." The battle sword swept out, transforming into a divine light that slashed out. He was already very unhappy because the two of them couldn't defeat Lin Xian, even after joining forces. Now that the woman by Lin Xian's side had taken the initiative to court death, he naturally wouldn't show mercy. Purple Qi from the east. Shen Jingqiu didn't dodge at all. Instead, she shouted and countless purple Qi spread out from her body, transforming into 2 large purple palms that carried a mysterious aura and slammed forward. With a boom, the sword light was sent flying. At the same time, she used her extreme speed to arrive in front of Zhan Wuxia. "Big baddie, I'll beat you up." With a bang, she sent Zhang Wushuang flying. Bang! Half of Zhang Wushuang's face was deformed, and his eyes turned into panda eyes that kept bleeding. After flying for tens of thousands of miles, he tore through the void and finally came to a stop. Ah! Damn it, he screamed crazily. How could a little girl be so powerful? He didn't dare to imagine. The humans and primordial creatures outside were all stunned. Heavens, what's going on? How could this holy daughter Xia be so powerful? She can actually injure Zhang Wushuang with one punch. How did she do it? It's not just that. Didn't you see that Morong Qingqing can also contend with Feng Yunxue? Screams of surprise sounded one after another. Indeed, no matter how strong Lin Xian had become, the woman and the dragon beside Lin Xian had become very terrifying. What have these people experienced? The Void Divine Furnace. They must have obtained the Void Divine Furnace. Damn it! They ate the immortal pills in the Void Divine Furnace. Feng Yunxue screamed crazily. The Fire Dragon King's face was also gloomy. Huo Muzhen and Zhang Wushuang's faces were even uglier. They had to obtain the Void Divine Furnace. Big brother Lin Xian, it'll help you beat this big baddie. Shen Jingqiu stared at Zhang Wushuang. Good. Lin Xian smiled and stared at Zhang Wushuang. Huo Muzhen, don't you like to win with numbers? Chapter 2995. As he said that, he pulled the snow-white monkey out of the black earth. Little White was very dissatisfied. He yawned as if he did not care about the battle there. Lin Xian said with a smile, "Help me beat him up, and I'll refine some supreme-grade spirit wine for you." Hearing that, the snow-white monkey became energetic. Apart from eating spirit fruits, the snow-white monkey liked to drink the spirit wine brewed by Lin Xian the most. The taste made him forget to leave. Oh! The snow-white monkey jumped out and waved his little claws. He looked at Huo Muzhen with disdain. Huo Muzhen was so angry that he vomited blood. Damn it! How dare a monkey be so arrogant in front of me? He waved the Qilin flag, which turned into a blood-colored murderous aura that swept towards the snow-white monkey. Die, you damn monkey! Any casual attack could easily kill King Invincible. However, the snow-white monkey bared his teeth and revealed a disdainful expression. His body instantly disappeared and appeared in front of Huo Muzhen at extreme speed. Damn it, what speed! Huo Muzhen's pupils constricted. He did not even see the other party clearly. How did the other party appear in front of him? There's something wrong with this monkey. Soon he became disdainful. Kneel down in front of me. He used the power of his bloodline. He was a member of the royal family. Moreover, he was the 7th generation of the Qilin bloodline. The other party would definitely not be able to withstand that pressure. However, this time, he was disappointed again. The terrifying pressure made the creatures millions of miles away crawl on the ground. However, the snow-white monkey in front of him bared his teeth and was not affected at all. Damn it, how is that possible? Why doesn't my pressure have any effect on him? Is he a monkey or not? Huo Muzhen was about to go crazy. However, in the next moment he fainted. The snow-white monkey slapped him on the head, and Huo Muzhen immediately saw stars. He felt that he was in a special state, as if he was drunk, and his body was out of control. Damn it! Why is that damned monkey's divine power so terrifying? Huo Muzhen was shocked. In the next moment he screamed in fear. That was because a sword light was flying toward him. A sword light crossed the sky and enveloped him. With a slash, he was cut in half. Ah! This pain instantly made Huo Muzhen recover. In the next moment, he screamed as if he had gone mad. The two shattered corpses quickly soared into the sky and fled into the distance. 7th generation Darren. Those prodigies of the Fire Qilin cave had all gone mad. The other party had actually killed their 7th generation lord with a single strike. They couldn't believe it. Huo Muzhen's body was barely able to fuse together. His expression was extremely ugly. Damn it, how dare you hurt me? Hurt you? Today, I will kill you. Lin Xian shouted coldly. Together with the snow-white monkey, the two of them quickly killed their way over. That damnable brat was going too far. Just you wait, I won't let you off. Huo Muzhen roared in a frenzy, but his heart was filled with fear. What was going on? The monkey beside the other party was too strange. It was not afraid of his bloodline pressure. Moreover, it could make him dizzy with a slap of its claws. How were they supposed to fight? If he were to receive another claw, he reckoned that the other party would be able to slash him in half again. Therefore, Huomuzhen decided to leave. He raised his head and looked into the distance. Although Zhan Wushuang was furious, he was actually fighting on par with Shen Jingxiu. In addition, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue were both pinned down. He had no confidence in facing Lin Xian and the White Monkey alone. Therefore, in the next moment, he tore through the void and soared into the sky with the Qilin flag, wanting to escape. What? Huomuzhen escaped. Huomuzhen actually escaped. Heavens, how is that possible? The human warriors were all stunned. Huomuzhen was so powerful that they couldn't breathe under the pressure of 50,000 archean powers. They could only tremble in front of him. But now such a strong person had actually escaped. The prodigies of the Fire Qilin cave all fainted. They fell to the ground, their bodies trembling. Their 7th-generation lord had escaped. Did they still dare to stay here? In the next moment, they fled one after another. Lin Xian ignored those ordinary prodigies of the Fire Qilin cave. Instead, he locked onto Huomuzhen. The corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. You want to escape? Can you escape? The other party was powerful and wanted to kill him. Now that he realized that he couldn't beat him, he wanted to escape? What a joke! He did not chase after him. Instead, his eyes emitted a cold light. In the next moment, he formed a seal with his palm. With a boom, an endless flame vortex condensed in the sky, turning into a flaming golden palm that slapped down from the sky. The palm slapped Huomuzhen's body and sent him flying. With a bang, the endless void shattered. Huomuzhen was once again beaten until he vomited blood. He landed heavily on the ground, smashing hundreds of thousands of miles of land. What a terrifying divine ability! The spectators in the distance exclaimed. Zhan Wushuang, the Fire Dragon King, and Feng Yingxi's eyelids twitched. Ancient Chaos Hand? They remembered that move. It was Yin Nantian's divine ability. Could it be that Yin Nantian secretly killed Huomuzhen? Ah! Huomuzhen jumped up crazily. Damn Yin Nantian! How dare you trick me? However, after roaring for a long time, Yin Nantian did not appear at all. No, it's not Yin Nantian. It's you. You evolved it with the Great Dragon Sword Soul. Huomuzhen was trembling with anger. Do you think you can still escape from me? Lin Xian sneered. Huomuzhen roared. Damn brat, how dare you stop me? Don't think that you can kill me just because you can beat me. Let me tell you, you're too naive if you want to kill me. I don't want to fight with you now. If you push me too far, I'll let you know the consequences of dying together with me. Huomuzhen was trembling with anger. Lin Xian sneered. Dying together with me? You think too highly of yourself. In front of me, you don't have the right to die together with me. He took a step forward, and the shadow of a dragon appeared under his feet. It carried him and rushed forward quickly. At the same time, the Fire Qilin sword in his hand swung wildly. In the sky, the golden palm appeared and disappeared mysteriously. Stop! Huomuzhen was in a mess. His body was shattered again. He was really scared. He screamed crazily. Damn it, stop. I don't want the Void Divine Furnace anymore. You don't want the Void Divine Furnace anymore? Do you think you're qualified to take it? Lin Xian sneered. After fighting for a while, Huomuzhen screamed crazily. Stop, I was wrong. I apologize to you. I shouldn't have come to kill you. I'll compensate you with 2 half-step sacred artifacts. How about that? 3 half-step sacred artifacts? That's a big deal. Very well, I'll take it. However, you still have to die. Lin Xian's voice was cold. He did not want to let the other party go. Damn brat, I'll fight it out with you. When Huomuzhen heard that, he was so angry that he vomited blood. He began to burn his bloodline power and rushed forward crazily. At this moment, he directly transformed into his Qilin form and ran in all directions like a divine beast. It was too terrifying. Chapter 2996. Do you think you can fight me by burning your bloodline power? I only need 1 finger to kill you. With one hand behind his back, Lin Xian extended a finger with his other hand and pointed forward. It was a familiar scene. When Huo Muzhen first arrived, he was so arrogant that he wanted to kill Lin Xian with one finger. Now Lin Xian was using the same method to kill him. It was the best counterattack. You're courting death. Who do you think you are? You want to kill me with one finger? Huo Muzhen roared and rushed over. Lin Xian snorted and the dragon sword soul flew out. It turned into an azure dragon on his fingertip and let out a loud dragon roar. Green dragon finger. It was a divine ability that he had developed by imitating the Qilin finger. With a single point of his finger, it was earth-shattering. This was equivalent to sending out the great dragon sword soul. No, damn it. When Huo Muzhen got closer, he realized how terrifying the finger was. His expression changed instantly and he stopped attacking. Instead, he fled like a madman. At this moment, he burned his bloodline power with all his might. However, he fainted again with a bang. The snow-white monkey slapped him, and he was stunned in the void. Buzz. The green dragon finger pierced through his head. With a boom, Huo Muzhen exploded like a watermelon. His soul screamed and tried to escape, but it was also destroyed by the finger. Boom. The headless Qilin corpse fell to the ground with an earth-shattering sound and dust. Everyone was stunned, and their minds went blank. He's dead. The terrifying sky pride of the Fire Qilin Cave, the seventh master, was killed. They could not believe it. The sky prides of the Fire Qilin Cave who were running away screamed crazily when they saw this scene. Seventh master. Many people rushed towards Lin Xian, but they were swept away by Lin Xian's sword. The others were scared out of their wits and knelt in the air. Zhan Wushuang, the Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinxue, and the others were also stunned. They quickly retreated with ugly expressions. Huo Muzhen's death was unbelievable to them. One had to know that their strength was about the same, but if they really had to differentiate, Huo Muzhen was obviously stronger than them. After all, the other party had the 7th generation Qilin bloodline, which was extremely terrifying. What about now? His opponent was actually dead. He was killed by the brat in front of him. They would never have imagined such a scene even in their dreams. After Lin Xian killed Huo Muzhen, he stared at Zhan Wushuang. Immediately, Zhan Wushuang's body trembled. Without another word, he tore open the void and fled. Lin Xian was already prepared. The golden hand in the sky descended, shattering the void and blasting Zhan Wushuang out. Blood flowed from the corner of Zhan Wushuang's mouth. His face was extremely ugly. He did not say anything because he only had one thought in his mind, and that was to escape. Even someone as strong as Huo Muzhen had been killed. If he were to stay any longer, he would probably be killed as well. Therefore, he took out a scroll and wrapped it around his body. Brat, I'll kill you next time. Space-time teleportation scroll. Someone exclaimed. It was equivalent to a portable space teleportation array. The cost of making this kind of scroll was very high. Only the top clans could produce it. Trying to escape? Looking at Zhan Wushuang's body that was getting fainter, Lin Xian snorted coldly. A dragon-shaped sword shadow appeared in front of him. With a slash of the sword, it directly destroyed the power of space. With a bang, Zhan Wushuang fell out of the void. Half of his body was badly mutilated. Damn it, you can actually destroy the power of space. He screamed like a madman. In the distance, those people were also terrified. The great dragon sword soul was too terrifying. It could destroy everything. It could even destroy the illusory space teleportation. You tried to kill me time and time again because you wanted to use my name to climb up the ranks. Today I'll end you. Lin Xian shouted coldly, and a sword light shot forward. No. Zhan Wushuang screamed crazily, but he was firmly locked in place. At the critical moment, a hazy shadow rushed out from between his eyebrows. It was a middle-aged man. Although it was just an illusion, the aura he exuded was extremely terrifying. He reached out a palm and grabbed the shocking sword. It was a soul mark. A peerless expert from the war tribe was protecting Zhan Wushuang. Someone screamed. Lin Xian also frowned. Zhan Wushuang revealed a sinister smile. Hee kid, let's see how you kill me this time. Before he could finish, a purple sword pierced through his heart and froze his body in midair. How dare you bully big brother Lin Xian? I'll kill you, you big baddie. Damn it, you. Zhang Wushuang's body trembled, and his face became extremely pale. He did not expect Shen Jingqiu to suddenly attack. He turned around with a sinister expression. I want you dead. He rushed forward like a madman. Shen Jingqiu shouted. Infinite purple lightning. She formed a seal with both hands and pressed it forward. With a boom, Zhang Wushuang's head exploded. Elder, save me. Zhang Wushuang's soul escaped from his body and flew forward. The illusory middle-aged man turned his head and stared at Shen Jingqiu with a cold light in his eyes. Shen Jingqiu summoned a purple cloud to defend herself. Clang. She was forced back, and blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. How dare you destroy the war tribe's unparalleled body? You deserve death. The illusory middle-aged man's eyes were extremely sharp. Lin Xian shouted coldly. It was just a soul mark. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? I'll kill you today. He activated the Great Dragon Sword Soul and charged forward aggressively. You want to kill me with just you? The middle-aged man was disdainful. But in the next moment he screamed. Because he realized that his soul mark was burning. Damn it. What kind of sword aura was this? He screamed in horror. Old Zhang had the Great Dragon Sword Soul, and it could annihilate everything. Great Dragon Sword Soul. The middle-aged man took a deep breath. He waved his hand and wrapped Zhang Wushuang's corpse, then carried it into the sky. He wanted to leave this place. Do you still think you can leave? In the sky, a golden hand slapped down, but it was blocked by the middle-aged man. At the same time, a pair of golden eyes appeared. They were like the eyes of a god, cold and indifferent. In his eyes, countless runes formed two mysterious patterns that transformed into sharp golden blades that slashed downwards. You want to hit me with the Mirai technique? The middle-aged man sneered. But in the next moment, he was pierced by a rune blade. Zhang Wushuang's soul was also pierced. Their souls quickly dissipated and turned into nothingness. Dead. Everyone was stunned. They did not expect that the soul mark that came out from Zhang Wushuang's forehead would be destroyed too. What exactly were those golden eyes? Everyone trembled under the gaze of those eyes. Lin Xian's face was a little pale. The attack just now was a rune pattern that he had obtained in the mysterious passage. Now that it appeared, it killed both Zhang Wushuang and the war tribe soul marks. Who else? Chapter 2997. Feng Yinxue and the Fire Dragon King turned around and fled without a word. They directly activated spatial teleportation and fled into the distance. Lin Xian didn't make a move. He coldly watched this scene. Everyone prostrated themselves. Those ancient creatures also quickly retreated. Too powerful. Such a sure-kill situation was actually resolved by the other party. Moreover, he even killed Huomuzhen and Zhang Wushuang, two top geniuses. This was going to pierce through the sky. Didn't you see the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue scared away? Brother Xian, Murong Qingcheng, and the dark red divine dragon flew back. Shen Jingqiu also came to his side. Are you guys okay? Lin Xian was concerned. The three of them shook their heads. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand, wanting everyone to leave. However, at this moment, a sinister laugh sounded. You want to leave? Do you think you can leave? Endless laws appeared, piercing through the void and enveloping Lin Xian and the others. Not good, the sage is here. The spectators in the distance wanted to retreat, but at this moment, they screamed. Was the sage going to attack Lin Xian? Damn it! You dare to ignore the immemorial Treaty of Alliance? Do you want to die? The dark red divine dragon roared crazily. The immemorial Treaty of Alliance was still on the ground, and the sage couldn't make a move. Now someone dared to openly challenge the treaty. Sorry, I'm not a sage but a half-step sage. It's not a violation of the rules, right? A figure descended from the sky. It was a middle-aged man. His face was incomparably familiar. It was the soul imprint that Lin Xian had destroyed previously. Damn it, the other party's main body actually came. He didn't expect the other party to be a half-step sage. Kid, not good. A half-step sage has already comprehended a trace of the power of laws, far surpassing an invincible king. The dark red divine dragon's face turned ugly. Lin Xian's expression was cold. This war race was really courting death. They actually sent a half-step sage to kill him. His eyes erupted with a biting cold light. The half-step sage in the sky sneered. Useless kid. Even if you have the great dragon sword soul and 9 yang divine body, you still can't resist. What I'm using is the power of laws. Laws danced around him. Although they were fragments of laws, they still surpassed the level of a king. The half-saint of the war race revealed a sinister smile. I will kill you with my own hands, and then extract your great dragon sword soul. Now go to hell. He stretched out a hand, which was completely formed from law fragments. It's over. Lin Xian is really going to die. Those people in the distance screamed in fear. They didn't expect the war clan's half-saint to arrive so quickly. Could it be that this was premeditated? In this moment of crisis, when Lin Xian and the others wanted to fight back, a sigh came from the sky. The palm of law instantly turned to dust, and the half-saint's body split apart, turning into a bloody mist that no longer existed. A half-saint expert had died. Who did it? A saint? Everyone went crazy. Today's events were becoming more and more terrifying. Were they trying to pierce through the heavens? Even a saint had appeared. The dark red dragon, Murong Qingqing, and the others let out a sigh of relief. Lin Xian's brows twitched. He felt the power of laws wrap around them. In the next moment, they left the vast mountain. Lin Xian had been taken away by a saint. It was definitely a saint from Immortal Palace. Those in the distance cried out in alarm. At the same time, this matter quickly swept through the entire true spirit world. Everyone knew about this battle. They were shocked by Lin Xian's strength. 50,000 Archean geniuses were killed. The war race's peerless genius, Zhan Wushuang, was also killed. Not only that, the war race also lost a half-saint. In an instant, this battle turned into a storm that shocked the human race's geniuses and Archean experts. Gu Santong, Wu Hua, and the others were shocked when they heard this. After not seeing Brother Lin for a few months, had he become so powerful? Yi Wadeo's eyes flickered when he heard this news. It seemed like he had also entered the realm of king. The 10,000 ancient races were silent. The 10,000 Dragon Empire and Divine Emperor Ridge's people had gloomy expressions. The Fire Qilin Cave was furious. Damn it, that useless Huomuzhen was truly trash. He had lost face for the Fire Qilin Cave. The Qilin Crown Prince roared, silencing everyone. The war race was even more furious. Their number one genius had been killed. Not only that, they had lost a half-saint. This was intolerable. However, what frightened them the most was that they didn't know what kind of saint had done it. Was it Xia Jiuyo? When they thought of that old man, they were terrified. In the end, the war race's old ancestor sent a message, telling the war race's saints, including the half-saints, not to act rashly. Otherwise, there would be a disaster. The reactions of all sides were different, but countless warriors were discussing this battle. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others left the vast mountain. When they reappeared, they found that they had returned to Immortal Palace. It seemed like it was indeed Immortal Palace's saint who had done it. I didn't expect you to grow so quickly. It's really surprising. In the main hall, an old figure turned around. Seeing this person, Murong Qingshan relaxed. Shen Jingqiu was shocked and nervous. Lin Xian's expression changed. He was overjoyed. Greetings, Elder Xia. The person in front of him was Xia Jiuyo. Was it the other party's true body or a clone? Xia Jiuyo said with a chuckle. I came to inform you of something. Outstanding Warrior Manor is about to open. If you want to walk the path of Great Emperor, you have to join Outstanding Warrior Manor first. Was the path of Great Emperor about to open? Hearing this, Lin Xian's body trembled. Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu were also stunned. The dark red divine dragon sucked in a breath of cold air. Was it finally about to begin? His voice was trembling. The path of Great Emperor was an extremely cruel path. Once one walked it, there was a high chance of dying inside. How many shocking geniuses had confidently walked the path of Great Emperor, but in the end, they turned into a pile of bones. And this time, it was likely to be even more dangerous. With the revival of the 10,000 ancient races, so many geniuses had appeared. One could imagine how difficult the path of great emperor in this era would be. Lin Xian clenched his fists. His eyes were shining with excitement. How am I going to participate? The path of great emperor was an ancient starry sky path. A path that had existed since a long time ago. This path is too mysterious and profound. It's not only in our true spirit world. Moreover, there are many ways to enter this path. The immemorial royal family and the remote ancient families must have their own ways. If you want to enter the path of great emperor, you have to enter outstanding warrior manor first. Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked. There was a lot of information in this sentence. The path of great emperor was an ancient starry sky path. It didn't only exist in the true spirit world. Then where else did it exist? The remote ancient families and the 10,000 ancient races were both emperor races. It seemed like the emperor races had a special way to enter. For people like them who weren't from the emperor races, entering outstanding warrior manor was a must. Then what was this outstanding warrior manor? Was it a mysterious force? Why hadn't he heard of it before? Chapter 2998. Morong Qingqing and Shen Jingxiu didn't know either. The two of them pricked up their ears and listened carefully. This time, even the dark red divine dragon was quiet. Xia Juyo said, I know you have a lot of questions. Ask me now. I'll try my best to tell you what I can. Even if you don't know what I can't tell you now, you can figure it out yourself in the future. Hearing this, Lin Xian couldn't wait to ask. What kind of place is the extraordinary warrior mansion? How long was the path to becoming a great emperor? What are the hardships and mysteries? Also, if he doesn't only exist in the true spirit world, where does he exist? Lin Xian was really confused, especially not only in the true spirit world. One should know how vast the true spirit world was. Eastern Barren, Western Desert, Southern Ridge, Northern Plains, Central Region. There were many mysterious areas and forbidden areas that humans couldn't set foot in. Is such a world not enough to include the Great Emperor Path? It seems like you have a lot of doubts. Alright, I'll tell you about these questions. Xia Juyo said with a smile. The extraordinary warrior mansion was a very mysterious place. It wasn't a sacred ground, but it wasn't weaker than a sacred ground. It was even stronger and more mysterious. It could be said that it was the entrance to the Great Emperor Path in the true spirit world. Or, you can see it as a screening qualification. Only by successfully entering the extraordinary warrior mansion would you be qualified to walk on the Great Emperor Path. One should know that the Great Emperor Path wasn't something that anyone could enter casually. Without a certain qualification, you wouldn't be able to enter even if you broke your head. You'll know this when you enter the extraordinary warrior mansion. The number of geniuses participating in the Great Emperor Path is far more than you can imagine. Although the 10,000 ancient races and remote antiquity families had their own ways to enter the Great Emperor Path, they would still send some people to join the extraordinary warrior mansion. After all, the more people who entered the Great Emperor Path, the greater their hope. As long as one person could walk to the end and become a great emperor, then they would have made the right bet. The glory would last for tens of thousands of years. As for your second question, I'll explain it to you. The true spirit world, you see this world, but it's just one. And in the myriad worlds, the universe, and the stars, there are many more like the true spirit world. So many that you can't even imagine. Of course, the true spirit world was very special, and there weren't many places in the entire universe that could compare to it. But in other worlds, living beings and races were as numerous as the stars in the sky. For example, some of the 10,000 ancient races came from other star worlds and were not natives of true spirit world. In the universe, there were many worlds. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. He did not know, because even if he was an invincible king, he would not be able to escape from this world. Only saints could break free from the shackles of the world and enter the outer space. Xia Juyo waved his hand, and the void cracked open. Countless stars floated within the crack. Do you see those stars in the sky? Many of them are worlds just like ours. There were living beings and martial artists on it. Our true spirit world has a very special name. A very special name? What is it? Lin Xian was at a loss. Origin planet. Genesis planet. Lin Xian murmured. The dark red dragon's eyes flickered, and no one knew what it was thinking. Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing were also at a loss. There are countless living beings in the universe, and many of them came from our true spirit world. However, they left too early, perhaps in the primordial era, or even before the primordial era. They went to other stars and did not come back. Instead, they multiplied there and built their own worlds. Our true spirit world, which is the origin planet, has too many secrets. So many that even I only know a part of it. There are still many mysteries and unknowns waiting for people to explore. Lin Xian was shocked after hearing this. He did not expect the true spirit world to have such a mysterious position in the entire universe. At the same time, what shocked him even more was that there were so many stars in the universe. Didn't that mean there were thousands of worlds? Just the true spirit world alone had so many monstrous geniuses. How many monstrous geniuses were there in the universe? And these people were about to embark on the path to becoming a great emperor. Heavens! Lin Xian did not dare to imagine. He felt his blood boiling. At the same time, he also knew how difficult it was to become a great emperor. Not only did they have to compete with the geniuses of the true spirit world, but they also had to contend with the geniuses of the universe. How difficult was that? As for those who had become great emperors, how terrifying were they? They were probably invincible in the universe. Since you know about the myriad heavens, the myriad worlds, the universe, and the stars, then I can tell you. The path to becoming a great emperor is an ancient road that shuttles between the universe and the universe. You start from our true spirit world, and then experience one star after another. Every time was a trial, a competition. Only by reaching the end would one be able to ascend to the peak. So that's how it is. Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu suddenly understood. They had never heard of such an ancient secret. Lin Xian also clenched his fists and took a deep breath. Now he finally understood what the path to becoming a great emperor was. Seeing Lin Xian's excited look, Xia Juyo spoke again. Although you are not a descendant of the monarch race, and do not have a heaven-defying bloodline, you have the great dragon sword soul, and the 9-yang divine body. If you master these two things, you will definitely not be weaker than the descendants of the monarch race. You can even compete with those princes and princesses. But in the end, whether or not you can become a great emperor depends on your luck. I understand. Lin Xian nodded solemnly. Indeed, it was too difficult to become a great emperor. The 9-yang sword saint was very powerful, but he was not a great emperor. In the end, he was even killed by a demon. And the possessor of the great dragon sword soul was already the 5th or 6th generation. However, in history, it seemed that only the 1st generation of the great dragon sword soul had become a great emperor. And the other generations did not become one. One could imagine how difficult it was to become a great emperor. Even those princes and princesses found it very difficult to become a great emperor. At this moment, Xia Juyo said, apart from our true spirit world, you may encounter many powerful enemies, so you must be careful. Don't worry, old Xia, I know what I'm doing. Lin Xian nodded. Xia Juyo added, in addition, there is one thing I want to remind you of. Because once you step on the ancient path, we don't know when we will meet again. So, I will give you a reminder. What is it? Lin Xian asked. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.